3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining.
We rode in every morning, half asleep and half alive, talking sports and chasing dreams, just trying to survive. Now the lights are out, the board's gone black, and Pete ain't coming. He ain't ever coming back. Yeah, the mics are cold, but the stories burn. We gave it all till the final turn. Goodbye, infinity. We rode that wave like a runaway train. Now the soundboard's silent and there's no more pain. Pete's finally free from the 9 to 3, sleeping in his glory, living a dream. Yeah, Pete ain't showing up, not today.
45 seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
You know, they could have just fired Nico Harrison the day after the Luka trade and saved us all a lot of time because he's out, and that was the most predictable thing ever. You orchestrate one of the dumbest trades in the history of all of sports, Pearl. Not shocked that 9 months later, you are unceremoniously shown the door.
No, I'm glad they let him hang around so fans could chant fire Nico. I mean, it's better that they could yell at him directly for at least 9 months.
Cathartic, yeah.
Yeah, instead of just firing him the next day. Which,
Fair.
of course,
yeah.
would have been the prudent move. But then again, would the NBA have given the Mavs the number one pick if they had fired him?
Sliding doors. You know, we in a 1.8% chance, I think it was, for them to get Cooper Flag,
Right.
which they got in the draft, which somehow Nico Harrison touted as some kind of massive victory because these
Well,
ping pong balls landed a certain way.
I mean, you're the conspiracy theorist.
Yeah.
The NBA, according to you many times, you're on the record, fixes the lottery.
Yeah.
Obviously, they had something on Nico that said, you better trade Luka to the Lakers because LeBron's getting old. We need a star in LA. And we will, in return, give you the number one pick and you'll get Cooper Flag and everything will be all right. But apparently, everything's not all right. Even in the conspiracy theory world, this did not work out at all.
Yeah, it's funny because if you have to get into the mind of a conspiracy theorist, that you can't say that Adam Silver needed Luka in LA. You just have to say Nico Harrison was wrong. He did this, and now he pays the price. And yeah, we may have miscalculated how much Luka Doncic meant to the city of Dallas. And let's not forget how much worse this got for Dallas fans when Jerry Jones traded Micah Parsons. Nico Harrison and Jerry Jones are not the same, but that happening in such a short amount of time just made it agony for Dallas fans. But the biggest thing to me about the Nico Harrison trading away Luka Doncic, and now the owner of the team, who, by the way, looks like a joke. I mean, you might be good at running a casino, or I'm sorry, you might be good at marrying into a family that already had casinos, and he might get sports gambling legalized in Texas. They put a lot of money into this lobby now to try to help their own business, casinos, sports betting, all that stuff in Texas. But this guy clearly doesn't know how to run an NBA team. And we see this all the time. Patrick Dumont is his name.
Yeah.
And we see new owners come in, and usually, Pearl, their mistake is they trade for a player, like what happened in Phoenix with Matt Ishbia, just like selling the farm to get Kevin Durant and all of that. It was his first move. This was trading away Luka, and clearly the owner is just clueless.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, owners like to star hunt. They treat it like a fantasy football team when they first get there. But even
this was the opposite.
You know what, though? The owner listened to Nico Harrison. That's the problem here. It seems like, and I've heard that Nico got a big ego for some reason. I'm not quite sure how he earned that as an NBA GM, but kind of had this idea that he was smarter than everybody. Hence the trade, because defense wins championships. That's what Nico told you afterward. They trade for Anthony Davis because Anthony Davis was a championship level player because he won one in the bubble. I guess, you could squint and see some logic there. The biggest problem, and you and I talked about this many times, is that if you're going to trade Luka, which is a terrible idea to start with, at least call some other teams besides the Lakers and get a lot more in return. You could have gotten, now that you see skinny Luka in LA, you could have gotten a franchise-altering haul, and you sure did not.
Yeah, that's true. Let's hear from, this is Shams Charania yesterday as the news is breaking that Nico Harrison has been fired. So, not to celebrate someone losing their job, but ding dong. He says Patrick Dumont, this is Shams, had to be convinced trading Luka Doncic was a good idea, and he trusted Harrison as a basketball savant.
Now, it might have taken Nico Harrison days, weeks to get Patrick Dumont on board, but after the Mavericks made it to the NBA Finals in 2024, I'm told that's when the Patrick Dumont-Nico Harrison relationship, that was the strongest it's ever been. That's when Patrick Dumont, what I'm told, he looked at Nico Harrison as a basketball savant, as someone that when Nico Harrison speaks, when he has an idea, it's basketball gospel.
Wow. And
man.
What was the biggest reason why the Mavs even got to that finals? Probably Luka. But I guess he did trade for Kyrie Irving. Here's the thing that I think is the biggest, two issues here, twin issues. First, just unpacking a little bit more of Nico Harrison and Patrick Dumont, okay? When they traded Luka Doncic, what makes today maybe feel so finally for Mavs fans, right? And for basketball fans at large, is the arrogance that they had after they traded Luka. It's we know what it takes to win, and you are the dead weight who is not a culture fit, who is too busy smoking hookah and drinking beer to take your profession seriously. And we don't think you're going to age well. And in fact, what actually has aged the worst is the fact that Patrick Dumont, again, the new owners of the Dallas Mavericks, said this in his first public remarks after they traded Luka Doncic. He said this to Dallas Morning News. If you look at the greats in the league, the people you and I grew up with, Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, Kobe Bryant, Shaq, they worked really hard every day with a singular focus to win. And if you don't have that, it doesn't work. And if you don't have that, you shouldn't be a part of the Dallas Mavericks. First, haha, Shaq.
Sorry about that, America.
Hilarious, because Shaq actually was criticized by many, including Kobe,
I'm gonna knock your ass out.
about not actually being in shape.
I won't stand for any Shaq slander
But
on the show. But
a couple of things he said, and they went on to say, that's who we want. I'm unwavering on this. The entire organization knows this. This is how I operate. This is the only way to be competitive and win. If you want to take a vacation, don't do it with us. Like implying that Luka was riding the coattails of who? Derek Lively? Like, who was he riding? He was riding the coattails of Nico? He was somehow mailing it in? See, this is the part I think where the Mavs fans feel like really good, Pearl, about today, because the arrogance with which Nico Harrison and Patrick Dumont operated with directly in the aftermath of the Luka trade. And by the way, how tone deaf of you. Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, Kobe Bryant. You don't mention Dirk Nowitzki, a guy who's got a statue outside. Like you don't know your own franchise, clearly.
That all sounds good, but I think the average Mavs fan's like, wait, you traded Luka Doncic away? all that other stuff, I don't even know if they even know about that. They just know Luka Doncic is not on their team right now. He's in L.A.
Yeah.
And they know that their team stinks right now. I mean, they do have Cooper Flag. But I view this more from, this is almost a comic story. It's not really that serious in the sense of like the fact that there'd be a key free throw late in the game and they'd be chanting fire Nico, fire Nico, fire Nico. This has just become almost like a college game where the fans are got this momentum and it's fun to chant fire Nico. The whole thing is it's an absurdist play, this entire saga. They traded Luka Doncic for an older, soon-to-be free agent Anthony Davis is insane. So I think that it's going to be more laughed at than taken seriously many, many years from now. He's going to be a comic figure in the sense that, like the guy who ever traded, what did they trade for Babe Ruth? The Billy
the rights to No Nanette.
Yeah, No Nanette and the Billy Goat, and like we're going to have him in the infamous, not serious category of sports stories. He's going to be considered one of the worst GMs of all time. And I've never obviously met Nico. I'm not sure what he's like, but I don't think he's ever going to be taken seriously again.
Oh, well, you're right. But it's funny because comedy and tragedy are very closely aligned. And it might be comedy for you and I sitting here thousands of miles away. That was tragic for the people in Dallas.
I think they enjoyed Fire Nico chants. I honestly, I think they were having fun with it.
Like that's it. But now it set their franchise back. And now it's set their franchise on a completely new course, which we'll talk about in just a moment. But to me, it was about the arrogance of this. It was about going only to the Lakers. It was about bringing Anthony Davis in, whose reputation or his nickname is literally street clothes. It was so predictable. And now the irony that Anthony Davis came into camp out of shape and now is hurt. And it was this whole thing about Luka and the work ethic, and he wasn't committed to his body. And meanwhile, Luka's on the cover of Men's Health, and Anthony Davis now has a sore calf and came in looking a little heavy. Like you're right, you can't write it like any worse.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Now that Nico's gone, is Anthony Davis long for the Mavs?
Well, let's talk about that because now you got to pick up the pieces here. And obviously the biggest thing and the biggest asset that the Mavs have is Cooper Flag. So you've got something to build around.
Yeah.
But I don't know like if people are that happy with how Cooper Flag has even been used here early on his rookie year. You know, questioning Jason Kidd, make him a point guard. You saw him the other day, finally moved him off the ball, and he had a career night. No one talked about it because all the fire Nico chants. And they did fire Nico right after. But he actually has something. So, like, my biggest question for the Mavs and for their fans, as we are on in the Dallas area, and you can call us at 888-710-4ISN, how much power does Jason Kidd have in this organization right now? Because clearly Patrick Dumont will listen to anybody. You saw the video of him talking to, like, a 18-year-old Mavs fan, Pearl? Yeah. In the Lakers, Luka Doncic jersey. He's a freshman at SMU.
That kid might be the next GM.
Honestly, would you put him past him?
Definitely not.
There's like a power vacuum here, and clearly Patrick Dumont is someone who's had a lot of yes men around him. Because how many people had to tell him, thumbs up on a Luka trade for him to feel good on it, right? Like Nico Harrison and all the other yes people. So who's going to take the power now? And the fact that Jason Kidd is sitting right there, our friend Chris Mannix said he thinks Jason Kidd would love more of a role in personnel. And even the idea, now this is me speculating, Jason Kidd moves to the front office and they move heaven and earth to get John Shire Cooper Flagg's coach from Duke to come coach the Mavs.
Oh God, really? So we're gonna have to hate the Mavs like we hate Duke?
I mean, you could already hate the Mavs like you hate Duke.
Yeah. I mean, I
want.
personally don't hate Duke that much, but if you bring in Shire, then you're bringing a lot of anti-Duke energy.
I don't know. Do people not like the Lakers now because J.J. Redick is the head coach and he went to Duke? I think you got to let that go in the pros.
Ooh, I don't know. I hear a lot of anti-JJ Redick talk. You think that the animosity from Duke hasn't carried for? Why do you think we made fun of the wine podcast all the time? Yeah, of course people hate the Lakers because they hate JJ Redick because he went to Duke. These are basketball fans. We're mortals. Yeah, if they bring Shire to Dallas, I think that you will turn off a lot of people because you're recreating Duke. But that's besides the point. Honestly, this is probably not the right take, but I feel like NBA GMs are a little bit overrated in the sense like the most important skill as a GM is to get lucky in the lottery. In the history, Tim Duncan, LeBron James, Cooper Flagg. So I don't even know if there's not that many moves for an NBA team because of the salary cap. You really can't even do that much. Like NFL GMs have 35 moves a year. No, they have more than that. They have 135 moves. NBA, you're kind of pinned into these situations. So every move is critical. Like you can't screw up something as badly as Luka Doncic. I don't know if Kid goes to the front office, like how much real flexibility? Are they really going to be able to trade Anthony Davis before his contract runs out? At this point, I'm not sure people are going to be interested. I mean, Kyrie, are they going to be able to trade him? Who's going to take that guy right now?
I don't know if they're looking to trade Kyrie. Anthony Davis feels a little bit more like obvious.
Well, of course they would be looking to trade Kyrie. There's no way the timeline matches up between Kyrie Irving and Cooper Flagg.
It doesn't, but I know that Cooper Flagg has to play with somebody who can handle the ball, and it makes more sense. And Kyrie's obviously coming off a knee injury, so we have no idea what he's going to be like when he even comes back. But I know Kyrie Irving does mean a lot to Mavs fans. He was a stabilizing force in that organization, as odd as that is, considering how it ended with Kyrie in Brooklyn. But at least that makes sense on the court. It didn't really feel like Anthony Davis and Cooper Flagg made less sense considering how crowded the front court is for the Dallas Mavericks. So I agree with you. Maybe the move is just tear this thing completely all the way down. They have very little draft capital. But I don't know if it's a given that Kyrie Irving is gone.
Well,
Probably it's up to Kyrie, quite frankly.
Kyrie's going to, by the time he gets back, what is it? March is the best, right? He turns 34 on March 23rd.
Yep.
So what on earth are we doing here? At that price, I can't imagine anybody's going to want Kyrie Irving. How consistently on the court will he be?
Well, then you're selling low, right? And so like maybe there's just an idea that that's not the prudent move. But again, it all goes back to who's making these decisions. Like, are they going to go with Jason Kidd and kind of do that? Or do you go with more of a traditional GM? And can I throw another team out there? Because you make a good point. NBA GMs, I might disagree with you about how influential they are, but one of the biggest things is you need to have a really great relationship with star players.
Why is that?
Because the NBA is a stars league.
Right.
And you never know when your star player might just turn around and say, not only do I want out, I only want to go to this team. And then all of a sudden as a GM, like you've got to make this puzzle work. And so to me, actually, one of the most important people potentially in this whole saga, whatever you want to call this, is probably Rich Paul. You know, Rich Paul is Anthony Davis's agent. Rich Paul is probably now the most powerful agent in the NBA. I think we can probably give him the crown. If you want to move Anthony Davis and you want to get off that, which would also be selling low, you've got to get Davis on board. And you've got to get Rich Paul on board.
Well, why can't I don't understand it because they obviously traded Luka without him being on board. Well, why do you need Anthony Davis on board?
Because Anthony Davis could just say whatever. Like he could say, I'll retire. He could say anything. I don't want to go here. I don't want to do this. He doesn't have the clout, right? Well, he does have the clout to be a superstar, but he doesn't have the market. So you might have to get him on board with trying to get anything back for him. The Luka trade is such in a vacuum of its own, Pearl.
Right. I mean, I would think Anthony Davis would be on board if you announce it's going to be a rebuild, which it has to be, because I don't think that Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving are ever going to be healthy enough to fulfill Nico Harrison's vision. Why would he want to be there? Of course he would want to go to a contender, right?
But that's what I'm saying. Like, are you sure a contender is someone, you got to figure out who actually would be able to give you anything in return. And I think you need Anthony Davis on board. But that's me. And I think Rich Paul does play a very influential role in a lot of front offices.
I think he would be on board because the only team that would want Anthony Davis would be a contender. So I honestly think Rich Paul will call them, the Mavs, and say, please get my guy out of here. Just timelines. It's nothing personal. I just think the timeline is not going to match up. Unfortunately, you have to go young there in Dallas. So that means no Kyrie. And honestly, there's not going to be any Kyrie anyway. There's no way he's staying healthy enough to be a player with Cooper Flagg. This is a dream that Nico Harrison had in the middle of the night, and it was ridiculous then. It's ridiculous now.
Okay, so we're talking obviously about Nico Harrison, the man, the architect behind the Luka Doncic trade, the worst in NBA history. I think we can confidently say maybe the worst in sports history. He's out. You are talking very, very in absolutes, Pearl, that the Mavs are tearing this down. You don't know what they're thinking. They traded Luka Doncic away for Anthony Davis and Max Christie in a first-round pick in 2029 and said, we're ready to win right away.
Yeah.
They sold that to their fans. Now, they started out the season 3-8 and got blown out by the Grizzlies. And everyone's chanting fire Nico. And, okay, maybe the plans change. But you can't say, when it's a new owner like this and clearly a bad owner, you can't say with certainty you know they're going to tear it down. That may be what they should do, but you don't know that's what they're going to do.
But I do know that there is no world where Cooper Flagg, Anthony Davis, and Kyrie Irving are all going to be healthy and on the court and winning at the highest level for the Mavs. It's just not going to happen. So I don't care if you intentionally tear it down or not. Those guys are not going to be on the court. You said it yourself. Street clothes and Kyrie is just not going to be healthy in time to affect Cooper Flagg. Tear it down or not, it's not happening.
You guys worried about the players. I'm still worried about the owner. Like, to me, they got rid of Nico Harrison, but the problem is still in-house. They have an owner who does not know what he's doing. You had a dead man walking in Nico Harrison that we all know is going to be fired eventually. As soon as the Luka Doncic trade happened and he did what he did with the Lakers, you knew this was going to happen. And he let this guy re-sign Kyrie Irving to another long-term deal, re-sign Jason Kidd to another long-term deal because he was flirting with the New York Knicks.
I was just about to bring that up. Don't you think he regrets that?
I mean,
he has to regret that.
Nico Harrison made long-term decisions for this team, and now he's out in, 8 games? That owner does not know what he is doing, so I don't know if it really matters what assets they have, the team they have, and having Cooper Flagg. I feel like that guy is not going to be able to build a winner because he's shown already that he doesn't seem to have a pulse on how to build an NBA team.
And you want to know what's funny? So, I mean, I think the question in Dallas is, do you believe that this thing can be fixed? 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. And then who's the right person? Have you guys seen the Mark Cuban is now suddenly back in the
he's back in the fold.
Of course he is, because there's a power vacuum here. And everyone sees what you see, EJ, what we all see, which is Patrick Dumont is not ready for this job or even doesn't know what he doesn't know and is acting like, he's Red Auerbach. So if I were an NBA person, I'm also trying to get in here right now. I could run the Mavs. Mark Cuban might feel like he needs to come back to help them. And you're going to have a lot of cooks in the kitchen here, and it's going to be up to Patrick Dumont to decide who to trust. I mean, clearly he trusted the wrong guy with Nico Harrison.
Yeah. Mark Cuban retweeted me the other day, by the way. Nice. Anyone see that?
No. What did you tweet?
Did you defend Steve Ballmer? Because he's into that.
No, I tweeted.
It's a king.
About a fake tree planting company?
I tweeted the video of Omar Cooper Jr. toe tapping. I said, I said something like, play of the year, game of the year, call of the year, and just a fanboy thing for Indiana football. And everyone forgets Mark Cuban, Mr. Indiana. Yeah. He started his whole empire by broadcasting Indiana basketball games on a phone line. So he retweeted that. Nothing to do. Yeah. What did you think? Mark Cuban retweeted my opinion on NBA trade?
No, I thought maybe farm subsidies, what's going on with the tariffs. Yeah. Mark Cuban's got his hand in a lot of things.
Yeah, but I got the sense from Mark Cuban that as bad as it's going with the Mavericks, and he's still a super fan, Indiana football's rise is sort of, he looks pretty happy. He looks satisfied.
If I had that much money, I hope I'd be happy.
I have to see how receptive he is to different ideas on Shark Tank to really get a mood. But it feels like if Indiana football can win it all, he will take the Mavs falling apart. That is my sense of Mark Cuban. I mean, it's his alma mater, Maggie. This is a big deal for him.
Listen, can't ever fight with that. It's like, hey, Sharks, I've got a 5-time first-team All-NBA player that I'm willing to give away for free.
Yeah. Well, can you tell me do you have a defensive end out of Stanford that you can sell me? Because that's where the real money is right now. It's in the
transfer portal.
Actually, Mark Cuban is very happy about Indiana football, and I think looks happy to be back involved with the Mavs. You're right. I think that if there's a vacuum, he will jump right in because he was just an owner. He was clearly a GM owner.
Yeah. I'm also curious for the Mavs fans because I've heard a lot of this. Like, this is such a great day, because the fan base had been kind of zombie and all that stuff because they're just disheartened, right, after the Luka trade.
Yeah.
But there is, like, also a realization, like, oh, no. This team has no idea what it's doing.
Counterpoint, Cooper Flag.
Well, okay, but they got to
lucked
not
into that.
mess that up.
Well,
They got to not mess it up.
By the way, he hasn't been the best rookie so far, just saying.
Yeah, but he finally had a good game.
Right. It took him a week, 2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, still, he's 18 years old. I think it's promising early returns. For 18, that's really young.
It's also still November.
That's true.
Yeah.
888-710-4ISN. But you got a bad owner.
That's for damn sure.
And we all know what that's like. We've all rooted for teams with bad owners. And it's tough because this guy's new. So it's not even like he's a bad owner, but he might be like on his way out or whatever. Like he just got here. He's got that new owner smell. Stinks. 888-710-4ISN. Okay, lots more to do, including we got a lot of college football to get to. The new college football playoff rankings are out. I've got major beef with the committee. Shocker. And it's Wednesday, which means the great debate comes your way at 8 o'clock Eastern time.
All right, Maggie, this is absolutely the best time of year. You really want to get involved in this NBA trade stuff, then make a choice on Prize Picks, because tonight on Prize Picks, you can go more or less on Luka Doncic, 31.5 points for the Lakers. Prize Picks is awesome this time of year because you have basketball, hockey, soccer, all kinds of sports where if you're right, you can win big. The app is so simple to use. You just pick 2 or more players across any sport, pick more or less on their projections, and if you're right, you could win big.
Okay, Luka facing the Thunder tonight, though. Good defensive team. I think I might go less than 31 and a half points. And then I was looking at Cade Cunningham. Weren't we talking about him yesterday? He scored 45 points on 41 shots.
Yeah.
I'm going to go less than 28 and a half.
The man is exhausted. I would hope so.
He's got to be gassed and also pass the ball. Okay, Prize Picks. This is where we have lots of fun. It's become the obsession of the show. And if you want to play along with us, it's super easy. Just download the Prize Picks app today. Use the code MNP. Get $50 bonus credit instantly in lineups when you play $5. That's code MNP on Prize Picks. Get $50 bonus credit instantly in lineups when you play $5. So win or lose, you'll get $50 bonus credit in lineups just for playing. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks. It is good to be right. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
Mand P. You're in a 4-minute break. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 2 minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
All right, this portion of the show is brought to you by Ethos Life, the easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes, up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Just a few health questions. Get your free quote at checkethos.com. Not available in all states. Welcome back, Maggie and Perloff Show. We're breaking down the Mavericks' decision to fire Nico Harrison. I think there's a lot of why now, why not earlier. Obviously, you couldn't fire him 2 days after the trade was made, because you had to save face a little bit. But I'll bet you there were people calling owner Patrick Dumont saying, you got to fire this guy. Because we all knew. This is one where the fans knew immediately what the organization did not know.
Oh, yeah. They had to own up to it right after the fact. They miscalculated how much Luka meant to the fan base. Like, they were just in the NBA Finals. Are you guys so tone deaf? But to me, again, it's the arrogance. That's why I think people are celebrating Nico being fired. Normally, you don't want to, be like, man, good riddance. But after they traded Luka, it was like, look how smart we are. We're going to be proven right on this thing because Luka's such a disaster that he can't get his body in good enough shape and XYZ. And meanwhile, every move that Dallas made is backfired. Anthony Davis not healthy. He came into camp out of shape. And Luka is thriving in LA. So it's just like, it looks so bad.
I mean, I understand what you're saying. I don't think it's the arrogance. I think it's the fact that they traded away Luka Doncic.
The arrogance on top of it.
I don't know.
Because sometimes you could be apologetic sometimes. Like, we had to do it because of X, Y, and Z. This team was like, we're being proactive. We're the smartest people in the room. Just all you wait and see. We're going to get proven right. Pearl, it's literally what they said.
Yeah,
we're going to get proven right here. And obviously they're so wrong. And that's why people are reveling in this today.
I think the energy would have been similar even if Nico was a great guy. But I think it was the trade.
Well, yes. I mean, that's the catalyst. Hutch is in East Texas. Good morning, Hutch.
What's going on, y'all? How you doing?
We're good. What's up?
All right, so we got a couple of things. I'm actually a teacher and a basketball coach in high school, and I have to tell you that I don't believe that it's as much arrogance as it is ignorance on the part of the new owner. But you talk about hurting a fan base. You talk about destroying a fan base. I took a little story. I took 80 kids to a Dallas Stars game last year as a trip for my class, right? It was a great time. We had an awesome time. These kids were so gutted by the trade that they planned all of them, like half of them, we'll say half of them, made Fire Nico shirts, okay, and wore them. And of course, I let them. It's an expression. Let's go for it. I was kind of on board. I don't want anybody
you were
to
wearing
lose
the
their
T-shirt
job.
right with them. Yeah.
Yeah, I made a sweatshirt. But, I don't want anybody to lose their job. But it was such an irregular move. Nobody understands it.
Yeah.
But the story goes, as we're walking around the AAC and we're doing the tours before the Stars game, and then of course there's all that stuff going on right now with the Stars and the Mavs. It's kind of weird. The offices, we had security officers and people handling you at the door, and just different folks come up to us and tell us. We had get on to me to get on to the students to make them change the shirts and to make them, cover up their shirts, turn them inside out, because they knew it was such a coup of sorts that they knew how much it hurt people. And I don't, maybe that is arrogance in itself. But it's not a hidden thing that people wanted him gone. It's not an undertone. It's an overtone. People wanted him gone. And because it did so gut the Mavs fan base. Would we love for Kyrie to be the leader and help Cooper Flagg become the next great one? Absolutely. But we also have a fear that he's going to be the next Chandler Parsons and, a chosen one that's going to just kind of fall on his face.
Wow.
It hurts.
Yeah,
it just hurts.
It's an interesting story. And first of all, good on you to, take your students to a sporting event. That's the kind of stuff, like, we've all been there before, where a parent or someone takes you to a sporting event when you're at a young age. You remember that stuff for the rest of your life. Thank you so much for calling in. Oh, sorry. That's really cool, bro. No teachers ever took me to see anything. But I can't believe. Well,
wow.
No offense, but where are we going to see him? Binghamton, maybe.
The Mets.
The
or the Rumble
Mets.
Ponies.
It doesn't matter. Anyway, cool for Hutch. Crazy that at a different sporting event for a completely different league that doesn't even have the same owner, they would ask them to turn the shirts inside out. He said Dallas Stars game, and they wanted him to turn around the Fire Nico shirt.
What are the chances that Hutch had those shirts printed out of his own pocket?
Maybe.
The chances he designed the shirts.
Honestly, teachers are incredible. We don't give them enough credit.
I'll drink to that.
But Pearl, there's an idea that, just what Hutch was saying, fan base is so gutted, and now everything is destabilized. Is Cooper Flagg going to actually be the next great thing, or is he going to be the next Chandler Parsons? Like, there's just questions because this ownership group is so bad.
Chandler Parsons, the next Chandler Parsons, he said something about there was all this hope around Chandler Parsons. Did anyone think Chandler Parsons was a generational player?
Well, Donnie Nelson, I think, gave him like $200 million, didn't he? I think he was the GM at the time. I got to go back to my Mavs history. But
I know he got a big payday.
He was supposed to be like a big transaction for them.
Yeah, I know, but Cooper Flagg, I mean,
he's not Cooper Flagg.
I mean, he's just saying he's a 6'9" white guy. That was the reason.
Let's go to
comparing
Daniel.
The two, obviously.
I'm sorry. Did you want to make another point?
Oh, no.
Okay. Daniel's in Fort Worth. Good morning, Daniel. How are you?
Good morning. Thanks for taking my call. First thing I'd like to say, you asked a second ago, why now? I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but they said it the other day in local media that the Mavs had the first non-sellout in 20 years home game. So I think it hit their pocketbook ownership, and that's probably was the catalyst for the move, because that was the first one in 20 years, but it wasn't going to be the last.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's a bittersweet, day in Dallas Fort Worth, because Nico is gone, but the damage was done last February, and we just kind of been soaking it all in since then. But my opinion is that it needs to be a complete fire sale in Dallas, and I would say everybody except Cooper Flagg is on the market, and your second most valuable asset right now is probably Derek Lively, being that he's young, and even though he's young, he has a lot of talent, but he's had some injuries. He hasn't been on the court as much as we would like. His value is never going to be higher than it is right now, and I don't think his timeline lines up with Flagg, being that they're 3 or 4 years apart. And I would just say that we gave up so much draft capital to put this team around Luka Doncic. You don't have a first-round pick for the next 4 or 5 years. Sell everybody and get everything that you can.
Daniel, thank you for that. I think they have their 2026 pick, though. Do they not? I thought that I read yesterday that the Mavs have next year their own pick, but then don't have one until that Lakers pick in 2029.
Right, because there's talk about tanking in Dallas, right? that by choice or not by choice, because assuming that Davis and Kyrie won't be healthy, because I think it's shaping up to be a great draft, right? This is a big, big draft. So I think Dallas wants to be bad. I would assume.
Let's get to Bogusch, who's got the latest headlines. Top Nico Harrison getting fired, Bogues.
Good morning. These headlines sponsored by Prize Picks, the hard-hitting football action, even better with Prize Picks. Download Prize Picks and use code PRIMETIME. No. And get $50 bonus credit instantly when you play $5. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details. Here's the latest attempt to get the NBA All-Star Game off life support. The league going with a U.S. versus international format. 3 8-player teams, 2 American, 1 not, will, quote, compete at the Clippers' new arena in L.A. in February. The players will be picked the usual ways, but there are no longer any positional requirements, and the commissioner will add players to make sure, if necessary, there are at least 16 U.S. players and 8 from the world to make up those 3 individual teams.
Didn't we do this? We did USA versus the world. I
Nope.
mean,
not in basketball.
I thought we did it for the rookie.
Well, the Rising Stars.
The
but
Rising
that was
Stars.
years ago.
Okay.
But that was a full game. There wasn't this round robin we're going to have where it's going to be 4 12-minute games and then a championship game.
I mean, listen, they saw how great it was for hockey, and I think they're just, the hockey did what I forgot what they called that, Four Nations Cup?
The Four Nations, yeah.
It was great. We were all into it, so they're probably trying to get a little of that momentum.
Well, but that was real, though. This still is not real. Like, the Four Nations Cup was angry. It was real competition. It's up to the players to try to play, like, to 1/10 of that.
I also think they overcomplicated this thing. Because to me, could you maybe I think you would get better competition if you did USA versus World, but doing this.
But just do a game.
Yeah, just do a game. Just do 12 US, 12 World. The problem is I think the NBA players and the Players Union feel like the US players will be slighted out of playing in the All-Star game. Well, tough luck. Like, you messed up by screwing around with this All-Star game for decades. Now you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. So
also,
now
the
we have
Players
this thing.
Association, though, covers all players.
I mean,
not
yeah,
just
but the majority
American
of them
ones.
are American, though. So they're always going to have a little more say.
But the best ones are.
Wait, sorry,
Got that right.
Do we get Canada or no? That's international?
Nope.
That'd be World.
I mean, come on. Toronto is right there. That doesn't seem fair.
Sorry. You also still need a
pick up
passport.
a
See, Niagara Falls. What?
You also still need a passport to get into Toronto.
Yeah. We haven't overtaken them yet.
Yeah, that's
either,
dicey right now.
Safe to assume that Jalen Brunson will be an All-Star.
Pick and pop. Towns for 3. Long rebound. Bridges. Brunson's wide open. His three-pointer is good.
That's Tyler Murray on MSG TV. Brunson putting the finishing touches on a 32-point effort and a 133-120 win over the who? I wrote Jazz. That's wrong. Who they beat last night?
Oh, my God. Come on, Bo, because they beat the Grizz.
The Grizzlies. There's Z's in that word, too. The Knicks are 7-0 at home.
Do you even get full credit for that? Are the Grizzlies even a franchise right now?
She said it, not me. They
beat the Mavs, but they just had to fire their GM.
Yeah, is it John Morant quiet quitting on the Grizzlies?
No, John Morant last night looked like he was drunk.
So loud quitting?
I mean, that was not quiet quitting. You're right, Bo. That was loud quitting. He had 7 turnovers in 12 minutes.
Yeah, he has more turnovers than field goal attempts this season. I think it's unbelievable. Field goals
This
made.
isn't quiet quitting. This is Costanza. This is riding around the parking lot of the Yankees saying, "Attention, front office morons." I mean, he wants out.
My favorite part of the broadcast yesterday on MSG was the awkward silence after Tyler Murray said, Morant is in jail right now. Yeah, that exact same awkward silence that we just got right there.
Wow, thanks for recreating that.
The MSG play-by-play guy, Tyler Murray.
The Knicks with this win are 7-0 at home. They've won 5 straight overall, scored at least 130 in the last 3. Well,
New York Knicks.
Well done, Mike Brown.
You always want to protect home as best you can, especially, again, with the fans that we have in this building and the energy that you feel in this building. And, I don't know what our home record's going to be at the end of the day, but we just keep taking it one game at a time and trying to get a win, especially at home.
Turn the Jets on! Turn the Jets on!
Thunder, meanwhile, are 5 for 5 at their home arena, smacking the Warriors 126-102. And the Jazz hammered the broken Pacers 152-128. Those the most points anybody has scored this season. Lauri Markkanen had 35 of them. The college football playoff rankings again begin with Ohio State, Indiana, A&M, and Alabama. But this week, South Florida gets the group of 5 spot, and Miami's in the bracket as the projected ACC champ. More good news for EJ. Number 19, Gonzaga running away from number 23, Creighton. The 90-63 win. Graham Ike, 20 points and 10 boards.
Everything coming up EJ yesterday.
Except the Jets. Eagles corner Jair Alexander reportedly stepping away from the game to address his physical and mental health. Retirement apparently is possible. Alexander did not travel with Philly to Green Bay for Monday Night Football.
Great Philadelphia Eagle. Well, he would be missed.
Those Packers placing center Elgton Jenkins on IR with a broken lower leg from Monday night. He might be out deep into January.
Okay, folks, thank you so much. Coming up, top of the hour, we will do the college football playoff rankings. But coming up next, someone has an inspired idea for an NFL coaching opening. M&P.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining.
And then he lost his cool, punched a hole through his drywall called Boonafoo. Volpe swung through a ball for man, he damn near cried. Now he's drinking Jack straight with vengeance inside. He's slurring Cashman's clueless, fire that clown, then flips both birds up while sitting down. Neighbors hear the roar, I've been loyal for years. And in between curses, but why he still ain't here.
Easy on our feet, back in the comments again.
Well, man, he strolls in with a grin on his face. Yankee pinstripes all over the place. But his chest is out like he's on the beach. Moist pork yells, button up, you creep.
Maggie, Perloff. Countdown begins at 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rose, he's live on the line for show. Every thought, every sports headline. From sunrise takes to the YouTube flow. He's bumping that beat from Infinity Show. Eyes wide.
A pickle loser, Summit County. Won't see me hanging round. Packed my life into cardboard boxes. Said goodbye to that town. But now I'm fighting with a U-Haul over charges that don't make sense. Reserved it online for $200. Now the bill's 400 cents. No bed, no frame, no sheets in sight. Just a blanket and towels tonight. Oh, Daly's fighting U-Haul. Daly's got no bed at all. Sleeping on a carpet floor, still answering Maggie's call. From Maggie and Perloff's YouTube dream to the land where shit can't stream. People out, he won't show up for work, but Daily keeps on with the team. I'm still moving, mostly done now, but my patience wears so thin. U-Haul's gotten me seeing red, but this war I'll surely win. The landlord's knocking at my door. The fridge is empty, the shelves are bare, but I've got Perloff on the stream, so I don't even care. Civility lost, we lost the crowd. COVID made him shout too loud. Oh, Daly's fighting U-Haul. Daly's got no bed at all. Carpet, blanket, towels for pillows, yeah, standing proud and tall. NBA court should stretch out wide, move the people way outside. But money rules and fans won't budge, so Daly sings with wounded pride. Now my YouTube stream is frozen, stuck on my face mid-yawn. Perloff's talking touchdowns, but my picture's just gone. Comments rolling in like thunder. Daily, are you even alive? Swear I'm shouting back at the screen, but the lag eats me alive. Buffering, frozen again. Daly's face stuck with a dumb little grid. Big Melody never shows up. Shoots a live stream, load up. Kaplan's in the chat just spamming memes, and my Wi-Fi's killing
5 seconds remaining.
You hope Bailey's got no bed at all. Sleeping rough but singing strong with Maggie's show to sing along. The pickle
30 seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. You're welcome to call in on the firing of Nico Harrison, 888-710-4ISN. We're on in Dallas for just a little bit longer. Of course, you can always watch the full show, youtube.com/Infinity Sportsnet, twitch.tv/Infinity Sports Network, and on X at Maggie Gray. And we're asking, firing Nico Harrison. You can't go back in a time machine and undo the trade for Luka Doncic, but how long before the Mavs can actually put this together and become contenders? Are you worried they're going to ruin Cooper Flag? Meanwhile, Pearl, we were reacting yesterday to the Giants firing Brian Daboll.
Yeah.
And you got a lot of names about who should take over, and we all gave our thoughts. I said, the Giants should trade for John Harbaugh would be number one on my list. And second would be Ryan Day from Ohio State. You went with?
Oh, I mean, I'll just tell you right now, like the names that are coming up are Steve Spagnuolo, Jeff Hafley, the defensive coordinator for the Packers, Lane Kiffin, because of the connection with Jackson Dart. And then there's another big name that Kevin Stefanski. Everyone assumes he'll get fired by the Browns. That he'd be a very attractive option to develop.
At least finally, you guys get a good name out there.
I would do. I like Stefanski. That probably be my favorite of the names that I've heard so far.
Okay, so you'd go with Stefanski. Not to do a take on a take, but Ian O'Connor, who comes on the show often, including last week, put out an article yesterday in The Athletic, and he's been covering New York sports for 30 plus years. Said the Giants should trade for Mike Tomlin. Now, here's the thing where I said John Harbaugh, Mike Tomlin, very similar, right? In the fact they've been with their teams for so long, won Super Bowls, the whole deal. I just have a feeling, because the Ravens have had more than 3 coaches in the history of their organization, I just have a feeling that maybe the Ravens would be more open to this, because there is a pressure that's on the Ravens to win with 2-time MVP Lamar Jackson that I don't know if the same exact pressure is on Pittsburgh. Like, I think that the Ravens might look around and say, maybe John Harbaugh's not the guy to get us over the top, but the Giants would actually benefit from him quite a bit. With Tomlin, you can just stay in this sort of, we make the playoffs, but we don't win any playoff games. And it feels like the Steelers have co-signed on that. Like, they're okay with it, much to the chagrin of some Steeler fans.
Yeah, I mean, the Steelers famously never fire coaches, so I don't think that Tomlin's going to be the first one. I actually don't like the fit of Tomlin and the Giants, because you have sort of this, I don't know, is Jackson Dart, Manny, a Ferrari, or you have a really nice Lexus at quarterback. You don't want to gut him with Mike Tomlin. You have a young quarterback. Like, you got to go with an offensive coach. See, Tomlin, to me, very much a defensive coach. Harbaugh, less so. Harbaugh obviously has helped develop Lamar Jackson, who's probably the best, arguably the best quarterback in the league over the last 5 years. So I could see Harbaugh. I can't see Tomlin. If I'm a Giants fan, I would just grunt and groan, because I don't want to get conservative with Jackson Dart. I want to have a real offense finally.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're right, but there's another part about Jackson Dart where he needs to protect himself. He maybe needs something a little bit more conservative.
Well, I think they need more passing.
Well, but
Tomlin doesn't like to pass.
Okay, well, Malik Neighbors is hurt. This is why I didn't understand why Joe Shane, the GM, gets to keep his job, because clearly there's not enough weapons on this team
Darius
either.
Slayton.
Well,
he played well last week, right?
Whoop-de-doo.
He did.
Whoop-de-doo. Congratulations.
By the way, I just need to correct myself. The Ravens, have also only had 3 head coaches. Ted Marchibroda, who was the original, Brian Billick, and now John Harbaugh.
We've had 3 head coaches since I graduated college.
I know, but I said the Steelers have had 3 head coaches, but that's going back to Chuck Noll. This is going back to, the 90s.
1995.
Yeah. Anyway, you don't like Mike Tomlin as a fit. I think that there's still a lot of questions here about Jackson Dart and what's the best way to use him, right?
I mean,
clearly not running the ball because he ends up in the medical tent.
Yeah, I mean, you want him to be more of a pocket quarterback. This is many times we've had mobile quarterbacks come in the NFL and want to run. You have to help themselves have a short passing game. So I would have a quarterback. I like Stefanski runs this, clearly Gary Kubiak kind of offense where there's a lot of play action. You got to develop a run game. Big challenge. There's a lot of work to do in New York. Because you're right, the weapons are not good. I think you have to go with a high-end offensive guy. I'm not sure who that is. But I always, we've been debating this all week. You kind of are open for a retread. I want more of a first-time coach who was an offensive coordinator. That's a formula.
Stefanski.
Well, I know Stefanski basically is it'll be the first time in a real team.
Oh, wow.
Actually, I don't know if the Giants are a real team.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but that's the kind of person, a guy who runs like a specific offense with a specific offensive philosophy. Stefanski, so you might not get him, but Clint Kubiak from the Seahawks, somebody like that, a guy who has a vision. I like the
Brian
Liam
Dable?
Cohens. I like Liam.
Yeah, that worked out.
Dable. Yeah, I guess so. But I want sort of a McVay Shanahan type. I keep saying that, and I'm like
they're just out there ready to be plucked.
Yeah.
I don't know. They've been 400 of them been hired in the last 6 years.
Yeah, but only 2 have really been successful.
None of them are doing anything.
And the Giants can't find those dudes.
I don't know. Kevin O'Connell's been pretty good.
He's like the main guy.
And he can't win a playoff game.
Everyone else has been terrible.
Quickly, I want to hit Andreas, who's in Chicago, just circling back around on the Mavericks. They fired Nico Harrison yesterday, he was the architect of the Luka Doncic trade. What's up, Andreas?
Good morning, y'all.
How you doing?
After seeing the firing yesterday, I just feel like the Mavericks, there's no direction you can go. Cooper Flag's a nice young player, but Luka was our future. And with the gambling coming out with some of the former players, current coaches, players, there's a small part of me thinking maybe did Nico collude with the Lakers all along to get a nice little payday on the side. I don't know. Anything's possible now that with the gambling coming out tied to the mafia. What is y'all's thoughts on that?
Interesting, Andreas. So now everything's open. So in this theory, Nico Harrison cut a side deal with Rob Pelinka and the Lakers to gift wrap Luka Doncic? I had not heard that one yet.
Well,
yeah, spot the lie.
Well, I don't know if there was like a bag of cash.
I don't want to comment on this.
Were there illegal poker games involved?
Yeah, I don't know. It seems like you get pretty well compensated for being the Mavs GM. Do you really need a duffel bag?
Hey, Nico, you lose this hand. I get Luka Doncic.
He should be in rehab if he's doing stuff like that.
Well,
no.
No.
This is what the NBA opens itself up to with all the gambling stuff.
You think that they lost Luka Doncic in a poker game?
No, that people will call in a radio show and say that maybe there's collusion going on with the mafia. Like this gambling problem is pervasive in everything now.
Yeah.
They can't avoid it.
Yeah.
Crazy. 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476, and Patrick Dumont runs a casino.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining.
We lost the crown. COVID made him. We rolled in every morning, half asleep and half alive, talking sports and chasing dreams, just trying to survive. Now the lights are out, the board's gone black, and Pete ain't coming, he ain't ever coming back. Yeah, the mics are cold, but the story's burned. We gave it all till the final turn. Goodbye, infinity. We rolled that wave like a runaway train. Now the soundboard's silent and there's no more pain. Pete's finally free from the 9 to 3, sleeping in his glory, living the dream. Yeah, Pete ain't showing up, not today. Not ever again. DA's laughing somewhere, raising a glass to the crew. We built a wild little empire, yeah, we saw it through. But Pete, oh Pete, he's a Hall of Fame ghost, clocked in twice a week. That's what he did most. He said, I'll be there soon. Yeah, we've heard that line. Now he's punching out for the very last time. Goodbye, infinity. It's been one hell of a beautiful mess. Talking tape and total stress. Pete's alarm's been dead since 24. He don't need it anymore. Yeah, Pete ain't showing up, not today, not ever again. Every spark we had. Now the static's singing something kind of sad. But somewhere out there under the morning sun, Pete's sleeping like a man who finally won. Goodbye, infinity.
30 seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
New college football playoff rankings are out. And I can't believe the committee is going to do this to Texas A&M. Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. So unchanged Pearl at the top, where you have Ohio State as 1, Indiana 2, Texas A&M at 3, Alabama as 4, Georgia 5. Then Texas Tech, who had a big win over BYU over the weekend, moves up to 6. Ole Miss 7, Oregon 8, Notre Dame 9, Texas is at 10, Oklahoma 11, 12 is BYU. Now, that's not exactly how the bracket would lay out. Yeah. That's just the rankings because the College Football Committee wants to just confuse the crap out of everybody. And I don't understand why they're doing that. But that's at least the rankings. And listen, Ohio State looks like a great team. I'm not saying that they are not one of the top teams in the country, or maybe even that they don't deserve to be number one. I just think Texas A&M deserves to be number one above them based on metrics that we all want the committee to use, which is 3 wins against ranked teams on the road, which is better strength of record, which is better strength of schedule. Like, these are all the things that fans are crying about because they want the actual best 12 teams, which is still not going to happen. But at the very top, Pearl, Texas A&M has a better strength of record than Indiana or Ohio State.
Okay.
And they have a better strength of schedule than a higher strength of schedule, if you will. They've played more difficult teams, according to the College Football Power Index, than Indiana and Ohio State. And I'm not saying that Indiana and Ohio State don't have good wins on their resume. Indiana went to Oregon and won. That's a great win. They survived Penn State last week. Yep. That's a win, right? Like, it's a good win, is a quality, it's good. And then you have Ohio State, who beat Texas in the opener at home, but obviously Texas was not even close to being what they may be. And Illinois has kind of fallen off, and those are their only 2 really good wins. Meanwhile, Texas A&M, as I mentioned, beating good teams on the road, including Notre Dame, including a ranked LSU team. Florida was ranked at the time.
Sorry, who are these good teams? Show me.
Notre Dame.
All right, Notre Dame. So they beat Notre Dame early in the season when Notre Dame is famously never good. Like, Notre Dame
beat Notre Dame at home.
Couple years. Okay,
Notre Dame beat Texas A&M last year in the first game of the season, so you can't say notoriously not good.
Last year they lost to Northern Illinois in the first one.
Picking.
Well, anyway, so Texas got Ohio State's got the win over Texas. I think.
How did they look at the beginning of the year? And they barely beat them, and that was at home.
But anyway, they have the win over number 10 team. Where's the other win that A&M is going to point to? I mean, and they have their disaster game, too, where they let Arkansas hang around all game.
But they won. So, and that was on the road,
Texas has won every game, too. I mean, sorry, Ohio State has won every game, too.
Okay, but that was, first of all, I misspoke on one small thing. Yeah. So, Texas A&M has had 3 straight games on the road. They won at Arkansas. Yeah, did they have to squeak by? But you know what? It's the
terrible.
SEC.
They were the worst.
But they didn't lose. And it was on the road.
Yeah, but Ohio State hasn't lost either, but go ahead.
Okay, then they beat LSU, who actually does have a good roster.
Who's going to have to get hot to be bowl eligible.
Again,
okay, they're
on
bad.
On the road, and they smoked them. They beat them 49-25. So you got some style
LSU's
points
terrible,
there.
And they're not going to be ranked. They're not even going to be top 50 team by the time this is over.
Here's the thing. LSU is a totally different animal because they fired their head coach who had a winning record. Okay? It's just a different beast.
But that win is certainly not going to end up. I think we're getting debate. Will they end up being a ranked team? And certainly not.
Okay, well then they also just went on the road and won at Mizzou,
who's not great.
Well, not great, and maybe on a backup
quarterback. Will not end up being ranked.
But still a tough game, and they were ranked when they played. So 38-17 was the final score. So
they're going to end the season before they play Texas. They're going to enter the Texas game after Thanksgiving with 1 win over a currently ranked team. A team that's ranked in November.
Okay, but who are these good teams that Ohio State's playing?
Ohio State has beaten nobody either. I mean, they're in the Big Ten. But
is Illinois going to be ranked when this is all said and done? No.
But you can't just. It's not about. You're not just getting the team that's faced the hardest schedule to be number one. It's all, the committee is about the eye test. They tell you, they have to judge on something, and Ohio State looks like the best team.
Okay, let's do this, though. So Ohio State looks like the best team. Yeah, if Texas A&M could play Purdue every week, they might look like the best team.
They beat Arkansas by 3 points. I'm sorry, that they are not as consistently awesome as Ohio State's been against bad competition. I mean, Ohio State hasn't been within, what's the closest game they've had? So my point is, why would you knock Ohio State off?
I just don't think they're deserving to be number one if we're going to actually talk about strength of record and strength of schedule, which is something, by the way, that you wanted very much because Indiana looked like frauds last year when they finally got to the college football playoff because they had not played anybody, but they were feasting off of this bottom of the Big Ten schedule.
Right,
but I would just ask you, is Ohio State doing the same exact thing?
Right, but we know, but they're killing everybody, and we watch the team, and we're like, oh my God, they're awesome. Right.
Texas A&M, you want to cherry pick Arkansas, that's fine. But their scores have also been pretty lopsided here, Pearl. You beat LSU 49-25. You beat Mizzou 38-17. They're doing the thing.
Yeah. But
they beat Florida 34-17. They beat Mississippi State 31-9. They beat Notre Dame. they're doing everything that you can possibly do with an SEC schedule. I just don't understand why they're third.
I mean, really, so I get Indiana. You can make an argument because Indiana's coming off a bad game against Penn State, but Indiana has the impressive win over Oregon. Yeah, I just don't see dropping Ohio State. Like, why? Let me ask you this question. You're an Ohio State fan. They just beat Purdue, whatever. Right. They obviously mailed that game in, but won 34-10. Why would they drop? Like, what's the point of, how do you drop by winning 34-10? So, doesn't make any sense to
me.
But
I could just flip that. It's not about them dropping. It's about Texas A&M deserving to rise.
Because of what?
Because they've played a much harder schedule and because they are winning.
But so you're saying the original ranking was off?
Well, they just beat another ranked team, right? So, yes, I thought last week even A&M had a shot at this, but now we have another week in the books where Ohio State beat Purdue and where Texas A&M beat Mizzou, and that's a much better win to me. And so it's not so much about Ohio State has to sink like a stone. It's to me that Texas A&M deserves to rise. And I think that there's something about, I don't know if this is still like brand identity or if that's, because I'm not saying Ohio State's not a good team and they could win the national championship again, hell. But
well, they are the number one team and the heavy favorite to win the national championship.
That's fine. And that's fine. And last year they weren't, and they would have never gotten in the college football playoff, and they went on a run. So you could win this obviously a variety of ways if you're Ohio State.
They were certainly number one coming into the season, but go ahead.
Well, Texas technically was number one going into the season. But I think that this is what you have to reward now. A team that has this tougher schedule and that does everything they're supposed to do. Like the fact that Texas A&M is not more associated with winning than Ohio State?
No, I mean, first of all, I just think this is
like if this was Alabama that had the same schedule, don't you think they would be number one over Ohio State?
No,
at least people would want it.
Because Alabama, I mean, what's the win? I mean, you have the Notre Dame win easy early, but they haven't. A&M hasn't beaten Georgia. They haven't beaten Texas. They haven't beaten Texas, or they haven't beaten Alabama. So I think the fact that they got this Florida, Arkansas, LSU, Missouri run is not enough to push you over.
Okay, but who has Ohio State beaten recently? Because you're
Ohio
saying
State
early wins don't
win.
matter. Well, Ohio State's best win is Texas in the first game of the season. It wasn't even September yet.
But they've killed everybody, so there's no reason to drop them. Let me ask you this: on a neutral field, say it's an indoor stadium, Ohio State versus A&M, how would you set the line?
I don't know.
I'd say 6.5 Ohio State.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Okay.
Why?
Well, because they have Jeremiah Smith, Julian Sains playing amazing. They have future pros all over the field. A&M does too, but I don't trust Marcel Reed as much as I probably should. He's he'll make some throws and then he'll miss a couple throws. And yes, listen, they have this amazing receiving core. I just think top to bottom, Ohio State is better.
I don't know. The A&M's right there with the expensive roster. They've got the really good head coach. I mean, Mike Elko is going to be up for all these jobs too. I don't know if he even needs to leave A&M, but he's going to be right there with the Penn State job and with LSU and all of it. Like, to me.
So what would you set it at?
I'd probably do something more like 3.5. And maybe it even would start at something like 3.5 and probably get bet down. And I think the money would flood in on A&M.
College football, a 3.5-point spread. That's very small. I think it'd be closer to a touchdown.
You asked me to be a handicapper? I mean, what are we doing here? I'm just saying I think that they are a lot closer than you think they are. In fact, I think they have a better claim because of what they've done to be the top team in the country.
No, but I think my point is that I think we all look at the two teams and say Ohio State is a little more battle-tested and more a better team.
But I think that because of last year.
Yeah, a combination of last. Yeah, that matters. Obviously, I think they're proven, and the fact that they have. I mean, listen, they're just stars.
I get it, Pearl, but why even play the
everywhere.
games then? Like that's the why even play the games, which I feel like is something you were saying.
Yeah, but I don't feel like A&M is proven. Like I want to see A&M in Texas. That to me is going to be really telling. I want to see A&M play Georgia, Alabama. I think they're a really good team. I don't know if they beat all those teams. I don't know that they're definitely better than Alabama.
Well, who is it? Are you sure Ohio State's better than Alabama?
Not sure, no. But I think they'd be a better challenge for Alabama. I mean, Ohio State, obviously, they have Carnell Tate and Jeremiah Smith, both top 10 picks, a wide receiver.
Fantastic.
They have Arvell Reese, probably a top 5 pick on defense. And they have, obviously, Caleb Downs is like the first safety who's ever been in the Heisman conversation ever.
So
they
it's
have
about
stars.
So it's about stars then.
But they've killed everybody.
And A&M has also beaten everyone they need to beat by margin when they should, and by squeaking by Notre Dame. Well, what's the shame in that?
Well, yeah, I love A&M being number 3. That's great. It's not like A&M's number 22. Like, yeah, Ohio State's 1. Then I think you could make everything you said is very good for Indiana to A&M. I probably would have moved A&M to 2, but it's not like I'm saying there. It's like our LeBron Jordan debate. Just because LeBron is number 2 to Jordan doesn't mean he's a schlub. I'm just saying Ohio State is the number 1 team. You can't downgrade them just because A&M beat Missouri.
Well, you also can't crown them because they beat Purdue.
Yeah, but this is how rankings work. You know that. I mean, I think Ohio State deserves the number 1 spot. Until they lose, they should stay there. I don't think you put a team down just because they have easy competition in this case. Now, my point about competition, if you have 2 teams that are very close come final decision, I would go strength of victory. And then A&M is not that much bigger than Ohio State's because a lot of teams that A&M are playing are falling apart, like LSU, Missouri, South Carolina. Like those games, Florida, for example, that's not nearly as tough as it sounds. Florida's 3-6, Maggie.
Yeah, well, let's go through Ohio State. Are you really impressed they beat Grambling 70-0? Are you impressed they beat Ohio University 37-9?
I'm very impressed by that, Ohio. Peter King went to Ohio University.
Yeah, well, he doesn't play quarterback for them.
Be nice to the Bobcats.
I don't know. I just think that I know that style points exist in college football, but that seems almost quaint. You know, like we are into a point now where we have so many more metrics that blowing out Grambling 70-0 should not actually influence whether or not you are one of the top teams in the country. That's crazy.
I'm the last guy to be SEC EJ, but I guess the only thing I would ask Pearl is what does Ohio State look like if they play A&M's SEC schedule? Are they blowing out? Because they're playing those Big Ten teams.
They're in a battle, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so I think that's probably the only argument for A&M over Ohio State is Ohio State, they are legitimately a great team, and they're clearly one of the top teams, but the question would be, A&M has looked so impressive through an SEC schedule. Does Ohio State have any challenge? And again, A&M had an Arkansas challenge, but they probably have way more closer games than they would have if they would have played Missouri in that conference.
Of course.
To be honest, and this is even something I've seen, we're talking about the college football playoff rankings. The second iteration came out last night. Ohio State's 1, Indiana's still 2, Texas A&M is 3, and I think A&M should be 1, and that's where Perloff and I disagree. But haven't you seen a little of this conversation actually creep up in college football circles? Is Ohio State tested enough?
Yeah, definitely.
Like, that's how easy the schedule is that we're having the conversation is Ohio State actually, they haven't found themselves in anywhere close to a dogfight, this season. Are they, when they get to the college football playoff, let's say they're in a tight game, how do they respond?
Yeah, no, it's a Big Ten problem for sure, but they came out of the Big Ten last year.
But they wouldn't have made the playoff if this was any other year in the history of college football. It just so happened to be, it was the first year of the 12-team playoff. They had 2 losses last year, including the terrible one to Michigan. Like, they were lucky in some ways. Now, they went on through that gauntlet and legitimately beat these really good teams, so I'm not taking away from them, but they would have never even had the opportunity last year.
But they would this year with 2 losses. But so they'll end the season with Michigan, and then the Big Ten title game will be them, I'm assuming. I got to check who that'll be against.
Indiana right now.
Oh, right, Indiana. Does Indiana then they have a really easy run.
So Indiana finishes the season with Wisconsin and Purdue.
Yeah, so Ohio State will end up playing 1 top 25 team and then 1 number 2 team. So they'll be they'll have fine strength of schedule. That's not going to be a problem for them.
I know, but see, that's the other thing too about this. This is not a perfect system that we have here because the insistence on keeping the conference championship games, I think, kind of messes stuff up a little bit, right? Yeah. Because how much do you really boost somebody for winning that conference title game? But you also can't knock somebody for losing the conference title game. Like,
yeah, it's not perfectly competitive. I know what you mean.
It's not, but they want to keep these conference title games because of the money.
Now, will A&M, if they play Texas on November 28th, are they guaranteed a spot? Because there could be multiple 1-loss teams if they lose to Texas in the SEC. So they might only have one win against a ranked team. If they lose to Texas, then obviously they're not going to be the number 1 team. But honestly, if they beat Texas and then they beat, say, Georgia in the SEC title game, would that would that be enough? I still don't think so. I still think Ohio State's number one. And by the way, it doesn't even matter because the 1 and 2 basically have the same path. There's neither gets home field over the other because of the point they would face each other in the playoff if they'd be on a neutral site.
Sure. I mean, can you imagine what you just laid out? Say Texas A&M beats Texas at the end of the year on the road, right? Goes undefeated in their SEC schedule, goes to the SEC championship game, beats Georgia. That's what you just said.
Or Alabama.
Alabama, whoever. And still doesn't have the number one seed. I'd be like, what do you have to do to get a number
But
one
Ohio State would have to
seed?
beat Michigan. They'd have to beat Indiana.
Okay.
Yeah, by the way, it's funny because you don't care
schedule.
about Ohio State's win over Texas, but you care about Texas A&M's win over Texas.
You want to know why? Because I think that Texas is trending up, and you know that because now they're the 10th ranked team in the country when they had fallen completely out of the rankings earlier this year. So I think it's when you get them, right? Texas at the end of the season, I think, is very different than Texas at the opener.
A&M's got some.
And they still barely beat them.
Yeah. We'll see if A&M's got some ugly wins. There's just no doubt about it because I look at Auburn. That game was a disaster. They won 16-10. And obviously the Arkansas game was super fun, but you probably want to blow out a team like Arkansas.
Wow.
I mean, what's Arkansas, like 2-6 or something? They're 2-7.
Fired their head coach. I understand.
Yeah. I mean, really, and we'll be honest, because we're nitpicking here, you want to blow out those teams if you want to impress the committee.
Yeah, see, that's not what I hear from SEC fans. It's no, you don't understand. Even our worst SEC team is better than 90% of the Big Ten. So that's what I hear. 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Meanwhile, the ACC, EJ, what an adventure this is for your Miami Hurricanes. Somehow Miami, Pearl, is ranked 15th in this poll, but they have 2 losses in the ACC. They're the highest ranked ACC team in the poll, yet they have 2 in-conference losses and likely won't be playing for the ACC championship game if the other, Louisville UVA at this point?
I mean,
or Georgia Tech?
They're 7th
They're
right now.
7th right now. There's 6 teams ahead of them in the ACC standings. The ACC standings is a mess, though.
Yeah, no, I get that. There's carnage at the top because of Georgia Tech loss. I understand.
And a bunch of teams lost. Louisville lost.
And Louisville lost.
Yeah, so.
But it's just so odd to me. I feel like it gave false hope to Miami fans to have them as the highest ranked ACC team. But it looks like the only ACC team that's going to get into this college football playoff is the champion of the conference, and Miami might not even get to play for that.
Yeah, you know that you guys definitely know. There's the Uncut Gems scene with Kevin Garnett where it's like, why would you show me something if I can't have it? You're showing me a bracket that shows Miami in the bracket, even though if the bracket was today, Miami actually wouldn't be in the bracket because they have no chance to compete for an ACC title game. I do think the ranking is better news, though, because they were 18th last week. Look, they had no shot. They've already moved up 3 spots, and yesterday the committee, they didn't admit that they reevaluated Miami, but they kind of did. The conversation they had on ESPN with Reese Davis, it was like, yeah, well, we're considering now the head-to-head to Notre Dame a little bit because now Miami's closer to Notre Dame in the standing. So
they're 5 spots above Louisville, who they lost to.
I know, and then that's the thing. That's going to be the thing for this, is that Louisville's not going to have a beef because Louisville's like, well, wait a minute, we beat Miami. Why are we behind them? Just like Miami was arguing about Notre Dame. So everything involved with the ACC is an absolute mess. I still think Notre Dame is getting so much home cooking. It is ridiculous.
Yeah.
They've beaten all the power conference teams they've beaten, except for USC, have all been last place teams. They've beaten Arkansas. They're beating the scrubbiest of the scrub teams, and they lost to 2 teams that are ranked in the tournament. They lost to Miami and they lost to A&M, and yet it's like it doesn't matter. They can beat BC and beat Arkansas, and they fly up the rankings. It's ridiculous.
Well, one thing, I heard something from Andy Staples, our friend at On3. There's going to be some major losses coming up, like that you do not see coming. He pointed out November is when the top teams fall. So Miami at 7-2 might have a better chance than you think. Because a lot of the 1 and 2 team losses are about to lose to teams they should not.
Well, and I think Texas, Texas has A&M, and now they have Georgia. So Texas is on thin ice. Oklahoma is going to be on thin ice. They have Alabama this week. So there are these teams that are ahead of Miami. This thing's not over yet for those teams ranked between 14 and 18.
I know, but guys, you got to see the 3D chess here. This is what the committee is setting up. I think they want to make Texas as high as they can. Texas raised 3 spots in this poll on a bye week. They want them high so that if they do have some of these losses, the fall isn't so precipitous that
good word
they get that they're completely out.
Yeah,
there's a world where a 3-loss Texas team gets in on Arch Manning's star power.
Such a good point. I think that they would love to figure out a way to get a 3-loss Texas team in, but I think a 2-loss Miami team is at least going to be in the mix. I mean, the problem is the teams they lost to. How do you make an argument? And by the way, I'm still hoping my SMU Mustangs find a way to make this happen too.
They're in
because
first place right now, so they're going to have a chance.
The best
headline that SMU has had this week is the fact that the guy who was sitting front row wearing a Luka Doncic Lakers jersey talking to the owner of the Mavericks right before he fired Nico Harrison is a freshman at SMU.
Yeah.
Did you guys see the story? So apparently the kid's dad has season tickets. Shocker. Kid who goes to SMU's dad's got money. And he saw Patrick Dumont, and he flipped him off.
Nice.
He gave him the bird.
Well, what would happen to us if we did that at Madison Square
Jail.
Garden?
Oh, well, you would not see me and Manny at this show anymore.
All of a sudden, just a plane just flying you straight to Russia. But anyway, so he flips off Patrick Dumont, this freshman from SMU. And the dad says to him, listen, you can't do that. It's not polite. It's not proper. You got to control yourself. So he went to Patrick Dumont and apologized to him, and that's how they started talking. And he said, you got to fire Nico Harrison. And he was like, well, I can't listen to Nico anymore. I'll listen to this 18-year-old, and he fired him.
I really love that. That's the Mavericks owner. Like, good luck, Dallas.
Apparently, he listens to a lot of podcasts, too, about the Mavs. Like,
oh, that's great.
I mean, you want to find this balance.
Podcast owner is not good. Oof.
You need to find a balance if you're an owner to kind of have the pulse of the fan base, which they clearly did not in the Luka trade, but also not be so ear to the ground that you're taking in every freshman at SMU and their opinion.
Well, every's a little rich.
Yeah, this one.
Only the ones that dad's have.
Dad's got season tickets.
Yeah.
Flip you off.
But then again, it is SMU, and it is notoriously the richest school on planet Earth. So maybe there's many SMU kids floating around the top 3 rows at Dallas games.
Possible this kid is the next owner. Who knows?
Damn, you already got Dumont selling the team?
Dude, they're in this to just get sports betting legalized in Texas.
And
the moment they do, or casino games, I think, and sports betting. The guy's married into one of the biggest casino magnate families in the world. And once they get what they came for, Pearl, I imagine it's not long after that they either cash out or hand it to a kid or a nephew or some other form of nepotism.
Lovely.
888-710-4ISN. 888-710-4476. All right, you're welcome to call in on the college football playoff rankings. Coming up next, poll results. Show divided. Get to all of it next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 3 minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back, Maggie Perloff Show. It's been a very Dallas-themed show today when we haven't even talked about the Dallas Cowboys. What's going on here?
Yeah, coming off the bye week, right? So they got a little bit of a break.
Yeah.
But just because the Cowboys weren't playing doesn't mean that one of their former quarterbacks wasn't catching our attention. And, of course, that's Tony Romo. So Romo was on the call of Patriots-Bucks over the weekend, okay, on Sunday. Obviously, Patriots win 28-23. A lot of people watched that game. Romo dropped an interesting acronym. Said he was talking to Mike Vrabel.
Okay.
And this cut's a little bit long, but it's worth it. Here's Tony Romo on Mike Vrabel, the head coach of the Patriots, his philosophy.
It's fundamentally sound. This team is DTF, Jim. Patriots, details, toughness, and they finish. That's my moniker I'm giving them.
That sounds very close to what Vrabel tells him, too.
He says that
too.
So
I think the T might be technique for him, but it's all good.
I mean, I didn't think Romo could be topped. He's one of our favorites because of gems like this.
To learn more, visit realizethedream.org.
What a day. Martin Luther King Jr. deserves to have a day named after him.
I feel like now we have a new challenger for our favorite Tony Romo moment. Was it him fumbling his way through a Martin Luther King Jr. Promo, or was it now we have DTF?
This team is DTF, Jim.
The funny thing is, everything he says now sounds like the same cadence of the Martin Luther King. He'll be like, "Oh man, Xavier McKinney, what a play! Everything is what a play!
Yeah,
what a game! He deserves all the credit.
Named after him.
Listen to a game, you will not unhear it. He basically says some version of that Martin Luther King line 6 times a quarter.
Is he replaced Here We Go Jim now with what a day, what a play.
This team is DTF, Jim.
Facts.
The fact that even Nance was like, whoa.
I was so surprised Nance
knew it.
Yeah, I was surprised by that.
Yeah.
What's CTF mean?
Yeah, tell us,
You wouldn't
Manny.
know.
This team is DTF, Jim.
I don't know what they mean.
I'm sure this was a joke with Vrabel, him and Vrabel, and I'm
Yes.
sure they did this at the table, and so Jim knew it because of that.
Right. And it's funny because this was definitely a joke that you would tell, and I can imagine Mike Vrabel telling this joke. That doesn't mean it should get to the airwaves, to CBS and the 1 o'clock window.
I'm sure there was some young Patriots fan being like, "Why are they making so much fun with DTF? I don't get it."
I'm still trying to figure it out myself.
And then young Manny, who was at a wedding,
Yeah.
he was watching the game on the phone, being like, "I don't get what he's saying."
I don't understand it.
I might have been watching the Knicks during the wedding, but I digress.
So you were not DTF at that moment.
Oh, I was down to Knicks.
Oh, okay. DTK?
Oh, you know that.
It's very close to BTK, like the BTK killer.
Oh, my gosh.
That's the logical connection.
Well, just wait. Where's Romo this week? I'm sure he'll find a way to get it in.
This team is DTF, Jim.
I understand getting it in. Sure.
I didn't even mean that, but he'll find a way to mention it.
Oh.
That's what I meant. Bogues,
Hope
what
he gets
happened to
a
your
paycheck.
finger, dude? What's going on? That thing is comically large.
Dude is a functioning moron. That's what that is.
Did you hit your finger with a
Excuse you.
hammer? If you're not watching the show, come on in. YouTube.com/Infinity Sportsnet, Twitch.tv/Infinity Sports Network, and on X at Maggie Gray. Bogues, we know you were calling a game last night.
Yeah.
And
Good
now
game.
you came in with your middle finger all bandaged. Were you giving someone the bird?
Why don't you show the camera the way that you showed me your finger this morning when I asked you, hey, how's your finger?
That looks
which
professionally taped.
It
by
is.
the way.
I in between here and going to my game last
Oh my
night.
God, you had the Fordham trainer tape it up, didn't you?
So that was on my mind, right? So I go home and I'm in the middle of 3 straight nights with a game.
Yeah, you got Fordham Wagner. Big
Right.
showdown.
So can't do anything at home. Like I'm here, I go home, I change, I drive to the Bronx, I come home, I go to sleep. That's what my life has been for the last week. But it's garbage day, it's recycling day. So in my 30 minutes of changeover, I'm trying to power through all of my man chores in my house.
Yeah.
And in the process of doing that, I take a big slice across my finger with scissors cutting down a cardboard box.
Again, functioning moron.
So I'm looking at it, I'm like, that's pretty nasty. It's bleeding a lot. It stops bleeding. I go, okay, maybe it's not that bad. In the process of trying to put a Band-Aid and stuff on it, it rips open again, and now I'm bleeding profusely again.
Yikes.
And now it's 3:15, and I've got a game at 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
So my first thought was, I'm just going to wrap this however much I need to wrap it in gauze, paper towel, and get to Fordham and see if a trainer can look at it. But then I'm like, if I need a stitch or 3, I don't think they can do that.
Trainers
So
absolutely can stitch.
I don't know that they can. There might have been a doctor there.
You mean
but
like allowed to, or they don't know how?
I don't know that the trainers, the athletic trainers, are not. I mean, they're like first aid, right? But they're not going to do I don't know if they can stitch me up.
Also, are you an employee of the university? Are
There's
you
a
not?
whole, so there's
Yeah,
that too, right? So then I'm like, I got to go to urgent care. So I ran urgent care. Somehow I walk into one that has nobody in it. I'm in and out in a half an hour. I got glue. I got steri strips.
Glue, yeah.
And then all of a sudden she starts wrapping it, and it's like the never-ending roll of gauze. This was one prepackaged roll, and now I have this huge right middle finger.
It looks like a cartoon
Funny.
when someone hits their finger with a hammer and then they wrap it up. It's comically big.
It looks like JPP's club when you lost a couple of
I was
fingers.
going to say,
wish it was that cool.
He looked like a college linebacker that broke his hand and still playing throughout the game.
You just said you wish it was that cool, JPP blowing his hand off with fireworks.
I mean, it's a slightly better story than my scissoring my finger off. By the way, during
much blood did
recycling,
you
Really
lose
emphasize the
yesterday?
scissoring there.
Please stop.
I mean,
DTF.
it was a lot.
Trainers absolutely could have glued that. Yeah, because I forgot about glue.
But my fear was
Gorilla Glue?
getting there and
you're right.
And like it not being able to be addressed. And then I'm sitting at the table in
Bleeding
a suit,
out.
bleeding on my charts.
Poor Andrew Posadas.
Yeah, so I got it professionally fixed and went to a game, and that was peak toughness.
Was there any
that would
point?
have been an awesome broadcast. You were bleeding out live before them in this.
Fordham's live stream suddenly peaking.
I would have liked it if in the middle of the game you just lifted your hand up and say, "Cut me, trainer, cut me." You're a warrior, dude.
Thank you.
You're
for
a
noticing.
warrior.
Wow.
It's okay, trainers. I've made my decision. Just cut the entire hand
Take
off.
the whole thing.
Yeah. All right. Well, got some headlines for us, tough guy?
do a Ronnie Lott. Cut off the tip just so you can perform at the game.
Your
Cut my
headlines,
thing off so I can go hit somebody some more.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. I could use that. Your small business keeps you on the go. Progressive Commercial Insurance keeps your policy within reach with 9 or 10 fingers with our easy-to-use mobile app. Learn more at progressivecommercial.com.
JPP can use it.
So Pearl and Mark Cuban bonded over Gus Johnson's call of Omar Cooper's ridiculous catch for Indiana Saturday. In case you haven't heard it somehow, here was Gus on Fox.
In trouble! It's out!
Most people love the call because it was Gus. Some people didn't, like friend of the show, Jimmy Traina at SI.com.
Yeah, I saw that.
And our Odyssey colleague, Mike Valenti from The Ticket in Detroit.
Can we say that a network executive needs to sit him down and go, here's the deal, you putz. You're not the storyline. The game is.
Mike was just getting going.
That was such a fake response. He didn't lose his damn voice. He faked it. He's fake. His whole existence is fake. He sits here acting like, oh, U of D. Man, ain't nobody seen you at U of D Jesuit. Shut up, you. Guy's nothing but a charlatan. What a fake-ass call. He ruins everything he touches.
I need one more.
I don't dislike him. I hate him. He ruins everything. He has jumped so many sharks that it's SeaWorld. It's ridiculous.
Nailed it at the end.
Yeah.
Why is this so personal with Mike Valenti
I don't know.
and Gus? Because
Well, Gus
Gus
is from
claims to be
Detroit.
Detroit.
He's
and
from Detroit,
I
yeah.
know, but Valenti is saying that no one's ever seen him.
Captain Jack!
Well, once you get famous, you can't come back to your old hood.
That's
UD
not true.
Jesuit? I don't know. Is that the
it's
high
very
school?
true.
Is that the high school? Wow.
Yeah.
That got personal.
Very personal.
Tying in.
I want more backstory of it. Can't just be about ruining a call because
Also, did he ruin it? I don't think he did.
no, I think Valenti was also saying to say the Heisman. The line about the Heisman, I felt like, was the part that he really took issue with.
No,
I
it was
get
a
it.
voice crack.
Saying
voice
that is
crack.
they fake the voice crack's a pretty big accusation.
You'd also
and an odd
have
one.
some real control over your voice
Yeah.
in that way. There's got to be more to the story here. There's no way that you could get that ticked off about a call. And I liked it because I thought it was funny, and I'm into Gus's shtick. So I don't know if that he's a charlatan.
Yeah.
Like, what's he? Charlatan implies that you're really trying to screw over somebody else. Like,
Okay, thank you.
I mean, Gus has a history. Like, Gus didn't pull this out of nowhere. We all know Gus Johnson. Like, that was
But I like
particularly,
that.
yeah, if you like Gus Johnson, at least he's consistent. Like, if he had all of a
It's
sudden
his
come out of
bit.
nowhere with that,
Yeah.
and I know he cracked a little more than usual, but it wasn't totally out of the range of Gus Johnson calls.
I actually listened to this whole clip before today, just getting ready for today's show. So Mike also, because his co-host was making the case that, well, Gus was going crazy that
Before
entire
this,
drive. And he said, Mike said, that's his point. That's his point. He's like, he's going crazy the whole drive, that there's no way to top himself once there's a touchdown.
Yes.
So then this is what he goes to. He goes to this, and I'm not defending,
Yeah.
Valenti, because I love the call. But
Yeah.
he's saying that he was going so crazy the whole drive. Everything is so over the top that the only thing he can go to when there is a legitimately great play is to do something that
right.
is just ridiculous in his mind.
Right. I can't listen. There's announcers I don't love for
Name names.
certain
Talk about Tony
reasons.
Romo for
Yeah, I mean
10
Romo
minutes.
on Bills games. I'm just like, you got to be
This
kidding
team
me.
is DTF, Jim.
He's growing on me now. But I think that I just can't imagine getting this incensed over a call. Did he
Over-
really ruin your experience?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a Gus guy. I guess I'm the lone non-Gus guy in the room. Like, it is too much for me, but I can't get to this amount of anger and personal attacking.
I like Valenti, though. He's really cool.
Love
I see him in the
Valenti,
hallway
but the
sometimes.
charlatan.
Super dude.
That's a big word.
Good dude.
I'm not even sure how
But
to use
he's
that
a
correctly.
fake. He's a phony.
Yeah.
He's a this, a that. It's like that cuts deep.
Now, is he fake and phony? I don't know. But to say that he purposely cracked his voice or somehow has that in his bag of tricks, to go back through puberty in a big moment is that's a weird
also,
accusation.
Are we expecting authenticity from a play-by-play person? Like, is that part of what makes them charming? Like, I like Joe Buck. Kind of seems like that's who Joe Buck is when he's calling a game. But Joe Davis kind of sounds a little put on. Does that mean his World Series calls aren't very good?
No, I mean, I don't.
Baby,
I've never dealt with Gus in regular Gus.
Joe Davis and Gus Johnson are a bit different, I would
Yeah.
say.
No, I'm just saying, I don't know. I know nothing about Joe Davis. I don't know any. Like, do you expect authenticity? This is Valenti's big thing with Gus is he's a phony and a fraud for some reason.
Right.
Do I care if my play-by-play guy is an authentic person?
I mean,
Who cares?
it's a performance.
Yeah, right. That's
Yeah,
what
but
I'm saying.
Gus is famously over top. He's
Right.
a one-of-one.
Right.
So
Totally.
there's nobody else who compares.
But
Only
isn't it
Gus
just-
does the Gus thing.
Exactly. I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm just saying, isn't it taste then? Aren't we all just talking about taste? He
Yes.
doesn't like it.
Right.
I might, but like he got so personal with this attack.
Yeah.
Like he's like he's defrauded the public.
Or maybe
somehow.
Mike Valenti wanted that job.
I mean, to be real, I mean, I love Jim Nantz, but Jim Nantz calling us friends. We're not his friends. He's obviously being fake.
Jim Nantz,
Well,
I don't
we're
know.
friends.
You met Jim Nantz. Jim
I'll
Nantz
be his friend.
Jim Nantz will be friends with you in about a millisecond.
Bro, I've been to his house.
I know. Say Jim Nantz. Everybody in the industry is friends with Jim Nantz. Like he literally is. The guy just meets you and he's like, "Tell me about your life story." But anyway, that's not about Jim Nantz.
friends.
Yeah, I don't know. The one thing Gus Johnson got into trouble for was Dion was the coach, and he was clearly a massive bias towards Colorado in a game where the play-by-play can't root for one team. And that was crazy. I think it was a USC game. And everyone's like, what is going on here? Why is Gus Johnson basically wearing a Colorado Buffaloes hat doing play-by-play? Right. So that's where Gus gets into trouble, I think, is when because he's creating drama. You know, that's his job. And it became too much into Dion, and he lost some.
But that wasn't the criticism here.
No, it wasn't.
Right.
But it's all part of Gus. I think it's all part of the same thing where Gus uses his voice to make it a bigger event. And you're right. It's a matter, you said it perfectly. It's a matter of taste.
Crazy to me. All right, we got to take a break. That was fun. Fun sound there. Coming up next, as I mentioned, poll results and the show divided. We've got to get to this so that we can all move on with our lives. Maggie and Perloff.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 2 minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
All right, looks like we got a little change here in the depth chart of the New York Giants. Man, everything's about the Giants this week. They fired their head coach, Pearl.
Yeah.
Now looks like Jameis Winston's now being elevated to backup. Jackson Dart, though, is still in concussion protocol.
No.
And considering his brain has been scrambled the last 4 weeks in a row, I
Mashed
think
potatoes.
you're going to see Jameis Winston, if I had to guess, I don't speculate on someone's health, but it looks like Jameis Winston may be taking the field when the Giants play the Packers.
That's right.
This weekend in MetLife Stadium. But meanwhile, the coach search is now on. And Bill Belichick, who won 2 titles, 2 Super Bowls with the Giants as a coordinator, was asked about this yesterday, and he gave the very on to Wake Forest. Here's Bill Belichick.
I mean, I've been asked about it from time to time, but yeah, look, I've been down this road before. I'm focused on Wake Forest. That's it. And that's my commitment to this team. And next week it'll be to our next opponent and so forth. But, I'm here to do the best I can for this team.
Appreciate you, Coach. You keep focusing on those Demon Deacons, sir.
Honestly, if you had told me the day that Bill Belichick said we're on to Cincinnati, that one day he'd say we're on to Wake Forest, I would not have believed you. But actually, maybe outside chance that Bill Belichick makes a bowl game this year. They have 4 wins so far. They got 3 games left at Wake, Duke, and NC State.
I came inches away from beating highly ranked Virginia.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, he's on a heater. Wins over Syracuse and Stanford. Stanford had to come cross country, by the way. I think they'll probably come back to earth against Wake Forest. Duke will lose to anybody. So it is funny that I feel like Bill Belichick, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Maggie, he's kind of righted the ship. You said it, bowl eligible. I feel like the laughingstock North Carolina Tar Heels football seems like a month ago. And now it's like, okay, they're not great, but they're not as bad as they could be. Is that a consolation prize?
Well, not bowl eligible yet.
Yeah. No, they could, at least could be.
Yeah, I mean, need to get to 6.
They were 2-5 3 weeks ago. This is finally they got a couple W's. Winning is the one thing Bill Belichick desperately needs here.
So speaking of winning, not a winner in our poll yesterday. So we asked, if you were a Giants fan, would you rather have, who'd rather have as their next head coach? And the 2 options we were arguing about at the time were Bill Belichick and Mike McCarthy, 2 ultimate retreads, Pearl. Ugh. And Mike McCarthy, in a landslide, won this poll, 66% to 34%. So even if things are trending up for Bill Belichick, maybe a little check on the pulse of a football fan is still not a believer. Now, the other thing, too, is Belichick's going to want full control.
No,
McCarthy just worked for Jerry Jones, where you have no control over the roster whatsoever. So maybe that's more appealing if the Giants decide to go in this direction.
Well, yeah. I mean, I personally wouldn't want either of them, but I actually, if you're going to take a shot on a retread, might as well go Bill Belichick. If that's really the direction you're going, just try something completely different. But Pete Carroll not working in Vegas has to scare Giants ownership. I don't think in the NFL timeline, you can't have a guy come in and immediately change the culture. And that's what the Giants need. They need somebody who's going to be there for 10 years and build something, and I don't think Belichick's that guy.
It's going to be incredible when Joe Shane hires his guy from Buffalo after he gets fired and Sean McDermott.
You can have him.
But
by the way, I don't know if Joe Shane's going to survive. Now,
He shouldn't.
He shouldn't. They should both. They both came. He and Brian Daboll both came in together, and they should exit together because they both equally, I think, are responsible for how bad the Giants are and throw ownership in. And I feel bad saying that because I know John Mara is cancer right now.
Right.
But even he, I think, would say he's made a lot of mistakes, and he would own that. And to me, hiring Belichick, Pearl, and playing the nostalgia card would signify absolute rock bottom for the Giants. You know, the fact that you would have to dig that far back into your past to try to find any identity, stability, what have you, just shows how lost of a franchise you are. And one of the things that the Maras get accused of is being so loyal. Bring Belichick? I mean, it's like you're trying to get the band back together from the 85 Bears, from the 86 Giants. Like it just doesn't compute to me, or the 91 Giants, whatever. It's all the same.
None of it makes sense.
Yeah, but I mean, he's been a winner more recently than at the highest level than Mike McCarthy. So
technically McCarthy probably is the more recent playoff win.
Yeah, definitely McCarthy's been.
But I mean, when's the last time
Brady.
McCarthy won a Super Bowl? What year was that?
Well, that was 2010, but
Yeah.
McCarthy at least won a playoff game when they beat the Bucks in Tom Brady's last ever game.
Yeah, but Belichick has won a Super Bowl in the last 7 years. It's not like Belichick's that far from the top of the mountain.
7 years is a long time, Pearl.
Yeah, I mean, listen, 15 years for Mike McCarthy is a long time, too.
Yeah,
no
doubt.
Bill Belichick's winning 7 games a year. Mike McCarthy's winning 12 games a year with the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, yeah, that went great. I forgot about this amazing run that Mike McCarthy had in Dallas.
The New York Giants would sign up for 12 wins tomorrow.
Oh, are you kidding me?
I mean,
absolutely.
yeah,
Why,
I
they
mean,
won a
you
bunch?
beggars
Did
can't
they
be
have a
choosers,
good
Pearl.
season? They had a good season with Dable. They had a
And
good
that was a
season with
9
McAdoo.
That was a
didn't do
9-win
anything.
season. A 9-win season and a 10-win season. That ended up being nothing. They were one and dones. If you can go to the playoffs 3 years in a row with 12 wins, with the way the Giants look right now, they would take that over what Belichick was doing in his last year with the Patriots, or what the Carolina Tar Heels are doing right now.
They take getting blown out by letting up 48 points at home in their wild card game, like Mike McCarthy. I mean, it didn't go great for Mike McCarthy in Dallas. I know they were 12-5 3 years in a row, but this isn't about McCarthy. It's about Belichick. I think that you could say, well, the roster fell apart in New England. North Carolina, forget this. Just ignore that completely. He's not that far removed from being the best coach in the NFL. You said 7 years is a long time. I mean, not that long.
Okay, but aren't we doing this whole autopsy now about how, like, listen, I still think Belichick was a great coach. I think it's more than just Brady, but that's kind of not.
Get into that, yeah.
That's not exactly like the theme right now, I hate the word narrative, but like it's gone against Belichick. Like the fact of the matter is the record without Tom Brady kind of speaks for itself.
Yeah, but I still think there are a lot of people out there who still think Belichick was a great coach, and I think in the NFL, I think he's highly respected too. I don't think they're all Brady people.
But he couldn't get a job, and there's a lot of reasons for that. But couldn't get a job when he was out there peddling the services, and it would take the reunion from their former defensive coordinator from the 90s and the late 80s.
He's not getting this Giants job. Let's be realistic. He's 4-5 in North Carolina right now. The Giants can't do better than that.
I think you guys are burying the lead, though. I don't have to watch Russell Wilson play quarterback for the Giants anymore unless somebody gets hurt. Let's go!
Cut to someone get hurt.
You're in a 5-minute break. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
big news yesterday out of Dallas. Ding dong, Nico's gone. Nico Harrison, who Pearl will probably go down in history as shorthand for just terrible trades. Certainly in basketball history, maybe sports history. Trading away Luka Doncic for Anthony Davis, for Max Christie, and one future first-round pick. Well, Nico Harrison has now been shown the door, and it's the owner, Patrick Dumont, the new owner, who clearly looks lost here. First, to even sign off on what Nico wanted to do 9 months ago to trade away Luka for not enough or at all, but now to reverse course. And I think for the Mavs fans, while you're probably happy about this because the fire Nico chants were deafening, but you have Cooper Flagg now, and this is serious. Like, you have to figure out who's running your organization, what their philosophy is, and you can't screw this up because the only kick, save, and a beauty that the Mavericks got out of this whole Luka nonsense is the fact that the team fell apart and they somehow landed Cooper Flagg when they had a 1% chance to even win the lottery. And they did, and now you got a second chance here at life for the Mavericks organization, but I don't trust this owner that he's not going to mess this up somehow.
Yeah, I mean, the way the NBA works, though, if you get LeBron, you can't mess it up. If you get Wemby, you can't mess it up. If you get Tim Duncan, you can't mess it up. So I do have faith that they can build around Cooper Flagg. I think the problem with Nico is his name is too easy to remember. So he will always be the name with this Luka Doncic trade. You think of the great bad trades, like who was the Vikings GM who traded Herschel Walker? Nobody knows. It's the Herschel Walker trade because Jerry took all the oxygen. So Nico, for some reason, he's been so... Nobody knew who Nico Harrison was before this trade. He was a Nike executive. NBA fans did, but I'm saying he didn't cross over. Now everybody knows that guy's name because fire Nico is such an easy chant. He will go down. Every trade has a name, right? This will be the Nico Harrison debacle.
And he deserves all that.
Yeah.
And, he'll probably never work in the NBA again. I can't even imagine who could hire him, even from a PR standpoint. Now, I'm not trying to bury the guy, but he made his own bed. And here's the other part. To me, it's the trade obviously on itself was ridiculous. And I said they should have just fired him the next day because we all knew this was going to happen, whether it was 2 days later, 9 months later, which it ended up being. But to me, the reason why I have no problem, sort of celebrating someone losing their job is because of how arrogant he was after the trade. It was trashing Luka out the door, right? On the way out, behind the scenes, off the record, on the record, saying that he wasn't a culture fit, lecturing Luka on work ethic, kind of invoking the deceased Kobe Bryant, like Kobe would have never stood for this. Like, come on, man. Like, that to me was so arrogant and silly coming from him or anyone. And I think he alienated Dirk Nowitzki. I think he did a lot of really bad things with this Luka trade that was beyond the trade. The trade itself was terrible. The ripple effects, I think, have also been bad. And there's a lot now to clean up here for the Mavs.
Yeah, one thing you and I think, disagree on, I know the Mavs made a finals, but that has a big asterisk. Like, they never felt like they were close to winning a title with Luka Doncic. I felt
disagree. I mean, it wasn't a great finals, but was it not something to build on?
No, see, I don't think that. I think the team, where they were going with Luka was just not exactly the right team building. And I don't know that it's going to be easy to build around Luka because he's very ball dominant, but it didn't feel like the energy was right with Luka there. I felt like they were kind of going in the wrong direction. So regardless, I understand where that kind of came from. And Luka's game, he's kind of, to me, he's like a wildly talented Russell Westbrook at times. Like, he just eats all the stats, but he hasn't really found the mix to make him a championship level player yet, in my opinion. He might get it in LA, and there might be a year where he can muscle his way through, but how does Luka fit in? I think that Dallas he went to the owner and said, like, look at where the team is. I don't think we can build around this guy. I could see an owner being like, okay, but if you're going to do that, you better get the Hall of all halls back, because Luka is an MVP type player. But to me, Luka's not necessarily a championship level player yet. Like, I don't know. For example, Jokic figured out a way to elevate his game to championship level. Can Luka do that? He hasn't done it yet.
Okay, well, first of all, I'm going to disagree with you on that Mavs run. Beat the Clippers in the first round, beat the Thunder in the second round.
A very young Thunder, yeah.
Well, they won the title the next year, so I don't know how, they were close. And then beat Minnesota, with Anthony Edwards, who at the time was being compared to Michael Jordan.
That one is, I mean, come on. That's not wildly impressive, but go ahead. Okay. And Minnesota, they're beating the Thunder, I like. The beating the Minnesota, you lost me for a second.
Whatever. So that's okay. I disagree with that run, but you and I can quibble about that. But I feel like the Mavs only would have had to look back into their own history to see what could have been brewing. There was a time when Dirk Nowitzki made the finals for the first time, and they lost to the Dwayne Wade, Shaquille O'Neal Miami Heat. And the next year, Dirk won MVP, and they lost in the first round. It felt like rock bottom. Like, what are we doing? And then what happened? Dirk got back. And no one ever accused Dirk of, like, not working on his body or whatever. They did accuse him of being soft, and they did accuse him of not being mentally tough. And then Dirk goes on the heater of all heaters, where he beats Kobe, he beats Kevin Durant, and he beat the LeBron, Wade, Bosh Heatles. And it's a title that's remembered for all time. And Dirk is now an all-time player because he did that. And so if I'm looking at the Mavs now, it's like you learn nothing from your history. What makes you think that Luka Doncic getting to one finals and losing means that he was going to forever be a loser? And that's what I think, along with the return of how little they got, and Anthony Davis is injured all the time, and street clothes is his nickname, but just to give up on someone, like imagine if the Mavs had given up on Dirk Nowitzki after he lost his first finals. You would not have this amazing player with a literal statue outside.
Yeah, I mean, it did take them 5 years to get back. That's a millennium in current NBA standards. It's a really good point. I can't argue against Dirk waiting. I did not see it. They built a great team around Dirk too, by the way. That was perfect for him. I did not see this particular franchise building around Luka in the right way. I felt like they were looking for sort of shortcuts to figure this out. And I never saw it happening. I just did not see Dallas, especially in the West, coming out of there with Luka. I honestly think Luka has a better chance now that LeBron's going to be gone in LA. Just start fresh because Kyrie and Luka never really did it for me. I understand. Again, this is about the Bills probably because I think getting to a finals doesn't prove anything. It's really, you might get through the Western Conference, but how close are you really winning the whole thing? I didn't think they were getting anywhere closer. I thought they were probably going the opposite direction.
Yeah, I find a lot of flaws with that argument. You know, LeBron James got to a finals and got swept that first time in Cleveland against the San Antonio Spurs.
Did anyone out of there?
Okay, did anyone think LeBron James never going to be back? LeBron James can't win a title? Like sometimes
in Cleveland, yes, we all thought that.
But sometimes your first trip to the finals is not indicative of who you are, who you become. Like
LeBron had to leave.
But the Boston Celtics lost a finals to the Golden State Warriors. They came back and won. Like that's part of this. To me, the Luka trade is giving up on him, obviously, but also the arrogance of it to think that he would not like take care of his body, find his prime, step into another level. Like the quote from the owner at the time was, "Nobody is allowed to be on the Mavericks if you're here for a vacation."
Well, let me ask you.
That is insulting to your superstar.
Let me ask you a question. Why did it take a trade to LA for Luka to lose 25 pounds?
Well, you don't know that he could have gotten that same wake-up call, right? Like you don't know when a guy ultimately decides to, turn it on, change their body. Charles Barkley took him a little bit longer than everybody else. He eventually did it, got to a finals, ran into Michael Jordan. What are you going to do?
Well, if you're the owner, you'd be like, wait, this guy goes to LA and he loses 30 pounds. Why wouldn't he do that for me?
And come on, man. The owner today is apologizing all over himself for what he did.
No, it was a terrible trade, but I understand. Like, honestly,
it sounds like you like the trade.
The major flaw is Nico Harrison would have had to build this team around Luka. That wasn't happening. I was not a fan of where the Mavs were going before the trade. I think Luka would probably want out by now anyway if he had stayed. I just don't like anything the Mavs are doing. I mean,
he was
honestly,
crying when they got traded. Why would you think he want out?
Just because, like, kind of be honest, I don't think is there any way if Luka had stayed with Kyrie, like they were going back to the finals in the West? No way. They would have been headed in the wrong direction. And we've learned now that Nico Harrison's a terrible GM. He was the guy who was going to build the team around Luka. That was not going to work.
Man, what a debacle. But meanwhile, maybe a step in the right direction. Yesterday, they fire Nico Harrison. Poll question, if we can, will the Mavs ruin Cooper Flagg? Because, bad owners are bad owners. And bad owners who don't know what they don't know, and bad owners who meddle, and bad owners who listen to yes men, and bad owners who seem to have the qualities that this guy Patrick Dumont possesses. To me, they can ruin anybody. And so if I'm a Mavs fan, yes, I'm happy today in the short term, but I still am very skeptical in the long term that they're going to be able to help Cooper Flag. Okay, let's get to the great debate.
The Great Debate Series.
All right, Pearl. I don't have to tell you this, but if you are a regular listener to our show, thank you. We all have a little slight obsession with Sydney Sweeney around here. And by we, I mean y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Manny's grinning like a fool.
Anne Hathaway over here, Mrs.
Right.
I'm smitten.
But you will find a place in your heart for Sydney Sweeney, EJ.
Sure.
Wait.
So Sydney Sweeney is in a movie now, a boxing movie.
Oh, that's what she's been promoting?
It's called Christy. It's about Christy Martin, who is a famous boxer, Pearl. You know this. Well, according to the internet, the movie stinks. It's bad.
Really? I saw Nobody Wants to See It, but I saw the movie was okay. It's supposed to be bad?
I mean, the critical reviews may be good, but the commercial success doesn't seem like it's going to be there.
Right. Okay.
So, yeah, maybe the movie's not bad. I don't know. I haven't even seen the trailer.
65% of Rotten Tomatoes.
Is that good or
So
bad?
that suggests it's okay.
What was it, 65?
That's 65.
It was 90-something the other day because they were running ads saying 92% of Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, that was probably the pre.
Yeah, but she's actually got, it's stupid, but she has got a little Oscar buzz.
Yeah, but apparently her PR team has been emailing people for the last 36 hours.
She created the Oscar buzz, but there is Oscar buzz.
There's been a lot going on.
Okay, so there's a lot going on with Sydney Sweeney in this boxing movie called Christy. Whether it's good, whether it's bad, I don't know, and I'm never going to probably see it. But it did get us thinking about the great boxing movies, Pearl. And I know it's a little bit of a departure. It's not exactly on the news, but because Sydney Sweeney's in this movie and because she's basically the seventh member of the show, we decided to do our great debate. What is the greatest boxing movie of all time? Pearl, go ahead.
Okay. Well, if I'm going first, I got to go with the GOAT, of course, Rocky.
Ain't gonna be no rematch. Ain't gonna be no rematch. Don't want one.
So Rocky is one of only 3 sports movies to ever win the Oscar, the others being Chariots of Fire and $1 Million Baby. But Rocky launched the franchise, so I assume people are going to do Rocky sequels. I still think Rocky 1 is underappreciated by all the young people who've only seen the Creed movies. It is an amazing, it's like a film and a movie, and you feel good, and it's dark and gritty and weird. And listen to the movies it's beat for the Academy Award. All the President's Men, which got a second life when Robert Redford passed away. Incredible movie. Network, which is an all-time movie. And Taxi Driver, which is an iconic movie. And Rocky was just as good as any of those. When he is running through the Italian market of Philadelphia, still gets me fired up. And this is, I don't want to debate Rocky versus all the other Rockies because I love them all, but I think you got to take the original in this case. That's going to be my argument. So Rocky, best boxing movie of all time.
All right, we're doing the great debate today. Greatest boxing movie ever. This is based off of Sydney Sweeney's got a new boxing movie out there to mixed reviews.
The pain in your voice every time you say that.
What, about Sydney?
Yeah, like it's based on Sydney Sweeney.
I like her television work.
Okay.
I like her.
Yeah, I know.
DT.
We know, Manny. Okay.
Indeed.
To me, the best boxing movie of all time is one that almost appeared to flip the genre a little bit on its head. That is Raging Bull. Yeah.
They only gave him that decision because he's going in the Army next week. That's the only reason. Knocked them down. I don't know what else I gotta do. I don't know what I gotta do. You won and they robbed you. They're miserable because their mother's. That's why.
I've done a lot of bad things, Joey. Maybe it's coming back to me.
De Niro's Jake LaMotta. Obviously, you got Pesci there as Joey LaMotta, his trainer and his brother. Catherine Moriarty is the wife in this movie. She is excellent. It's obviously a Martin Scorsese film. But what I love about this, Pearl, is just not only the acting by De Niro, gained 80 pounds, lost 80 pounds, all the things that are kind of in film lore. But this, to me, maybe there have been a couple other movies like this that came before it, but this one really was about the boxer as the man and how the success in the ring was the flaws outside of the ring, right? And just how paranoid and depressed and everything that Jake LaMotta was, and what he won in the ring, he lost in real life. Yeah. Now, there have been some other movies like that on the waterfront, maybe, but this one really drove the point home. I also was lucky enough I got to see this on the big screen, which was really cool, in Rochester, New York, at the Eastman Movie House, which was awesome.
Fun. Was that a date?
No, I was visiting my older brother.
Gosh, that sounds like a depressing thing to sit through.
It was. Winter in Rochester, New York. Hey, let's go watch Raging Bull. But it was cool. It's cool to see it on the big screen.
Black and white domestic situation. Wonderful.
Did win 2 Oscars. Fantastic movie. Best boxing movie ever. Go ahead.
Did they have counselors outside in the box office to talk to you?
Valentine's Day?
Just booze.
All right, time to lighten it up, right? So Maggie went with an all-time great movie, but a dark movie. Perloff went with the original Rocky, a great movie and definitely feel good, but also some dark elements. I'm going with the movie that I think is a little more enjoyable, a little more fun. It remains in the Rocky franchise, but we're going with what my opinion is the best one, number 3.
You're a disgrace to this sport.
Shut up, old man. You that chump that know where I had to come from. Bad boy, your family doing real nice, ain't it? You call yourself a fighter? Prove it now. Give me that same chance. The way he been ducking is the disgrace. If he ain't no coward, why don't he fight me then? Hey, woman. Hey, woman. Listen here. Since your old man ain't got no heart, maybe you'd like to see a real man. I bet you stay up late every night dreaming you had a real man, don't you? I tell you what, bring your pretty little self over to my apartment tonight, and I'll show you a real man. You want it? You got it! You got it!
This is basically on the strength of Mr. T as Clubber Lang, who is, in my opinion, by far the best Rocky villain, antagonizing Mickey, antagonizing Adrian, antagonizing Rocky. And it was great because you actually got to see Rocky lose in embarrassing fashion and has to get his own confidence back. There's a great message about being fearful of failure and what that means when you get success. It's just an overall great story, great movie. Shout out to Mr. T, especially, again, my favorite Rocky villain. That is, in my opinion, the best boxing movie.
How can you say it's not dark? Mickey dies in the spoiler alert.
Yeah, you spoiled the movie for Bogus. Thanks a lot. Yeah, that's true.
Wait, did you notice Mickey wasn't there in Rocky IV, Bogues? That's because he died in Rocky
IV to know that he wasn't there.
By the way,
there was that.
There was a big death in Rocky IV.
Yes, there was.
Yeah, I know. Because he was in the corner because Mickey was dead. Apollo had to be there.
Yeah, that was a big omission by my
By the way, best Rocky bad guy. Mr. D makes, Apollo is awesome too.
Apollo's great too.
But he's different because he's also a good guy.
Yeah, to me, it's like he's like a frenemy. This was real animosity, a pure villain.
And Drago's back in the new one, right? He's in the last Creed movie, which is awesome.
Okay, we're doing the greatest boxing movie ever is the great debate, loosely based on the news. The news is Sydney Sweeney is in a movie where she plays a boxer. Manny, go ahead.
Well, I think my choice is more indicative of the sport of boxing over most of my life. I mean, I'm 28 years old, and for most of it, boxing has been kind of a snooze. Don't like it. Hasn't really, built up to its expectations. So I'm kind of out on the boxing movies. However, there is this one movie that I watched at a way too young age from nearly credit to credit, and that one is Fight Club.
No one's watching? What do you care? Wait, this is crazy. You want me to hit you? That's right. What, like in the face? Surprise me. This is so stupid.
Mother!
Yeah.
Hit me in the ear!
This movie has drugs, it has a little bit of sex, it has buildings exploding, and I feel as though the most important part is that it has people punching each other in the face. Ergo, boxing movie, I got Fight Club.
Wow. This is like a bigger question. Is Fight Club a boxing movie?
No.
I did not even
Not even a question.
No. Is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
Yeah, I was going to say, is a hot dog a sandwich? This is one of the all-time questions now.
Not really.
No,
Yeah, this
you-
is-
they-
answer
I think
seems easy.
you kind of need a boxing glove to make it a boxing movie.
Incorrect.
You need your fist clenched up and some contact, skin to skin, like this one right here.
But that's called. Wait, so you don't think you need the boxing gloves to make it a boxing movie, Bo?
I think people, when they first started fighting, didn't wear gloves. Bare knuckle boxing is a real thing.
Jack Dempsey? He might have worn gloves.
And it's a boxing. Was there
Dempsey
any
definitely
MMA in the
wore
movie? Was there any MMA in that movie?
No, I know Jared Leto's face got all messed up. All right,
That's a
folks.
shame.
What's the greatest boxing movie of all time?
I nominate the true story of Irish-American boxer James Braddock, forced into retirement by a broken right hand. He's got to become a longshoreman. The Great Depression hits. Money's scarce, so he gets back in the ring on a whim, and he knocks out the number 2 title contender. Career restarts, and it leads to this.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have your decision. It's unanimous. Winner and the new world heavyweight champion, James
It's called Cinderella Man, the 2005 tour de force from Russell Crowe, making Renee Zellweger make those noises by beating Max Baer for the light heavyweight title. Paul Giamatti's the corner guy in this movie. He won the SAG Award for Best Supporting Actor. So I give you Cinderella Man.
Great film. Great film. Great film. All right. So based off the Sydney Sweeney boxing movie, our great debate today is what's the greatest boxing movie of all time? You can weigh in 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Man, that was 2005.
Yeah.
Whoops.
And you didn't like $1 Million Baby. You said that the other day?
Did not like that. Did not like it.
Too heavy?
Oh, I mean, and the ending is just.
Yes.
I mean, I picked Raging Bull, which has a
True.
really sad ending.
Yeah. But still romantic?
Does the bull die?
Why is he upset?
Yeah, like, is he happy by the end of it? They give him some Red Bull or something?
Does the bull die? It's not what's the?
It's not Adam the Bull from Cleveland.
No. What's the book, Pearl, about bullfighting?
Oh, Hemingway?
Yeah.
Sun Also Rises?
Yeah, it's on Also Rise.
Any relation to Bill Durham? Bull Durham.
Same.
Not
Same.
Bull or Bill.
All
the
right.
bull's son.
Does the bull die? It's awesome. Okay, so let us know, how did we do? Who's got the best boxing movie of all time? Coming up, we're going to play the blame game because something's going wrong in the NFL, and we need to point the finger.
All right, Maggie. I actually won last night on a one you wouldn't expect. I went less than on Isaiah Hartenstein's rebounding total on Prize Picks. I just had a hunch that he was not going to clean up the glass, and that's the thing with Prize Picks. If you have a hunch, you could win big with it. And right now, you keep the season rolling by getting a $50 bonus credit instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. So simple to use. Just pick 2 or more players across any sport. Pick more or less on their projections. And if you're right, you could win big. I'm on a roll in the NBA. What are you thinking, Mag?
Okay, tonight I think I'm going to do a little hockey college football bingo bongo. I got Connor Bedard more than half of an assist. So, I mean, 1 assist, and I'm a winner there. And then I'm going to do a little action, Pearl. Do you know Buffalo's in action tonight?
Nice.
Not my Bills, but the Bulls. Buffalo Bulls.
Horns up.
Facing off against the Chippewas of Central Michigan. Give me
Raging
some
Bulls.
Nick McMillan. I'm going to go less than 78.5 receiving yards. And Prize Picks is so cool because I would never even think of that combination if it weren't for them. And this is the obsession of the show. And if you're wondering if Prize Picks is available where you are, probably. It's available in 40-plus states, including California, Texas, Florida, and Georgia. So what do? You download the Prize Picks app today. Use the code MNP. Get $50 bonus credit instantly in lineups when you play $5. That's code MNP on Prize Picks. You get $50 bonus credit instantly in lineups when you play $5. So win or lose, you'll get $50 bonus credit in lineups just for playing. It is guaranteed. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
Mand P.
You're in a 4-minute break. 3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining.
Now Bailey rode into town with suspicion in his eyes, saying Kaplan's got a secret and he's hiding it inside. Zach Job's lost in darkness, Ryan Stream's a mess, Chabelle Wolf's just a spinning wheel. Oh Lord, what a distress. But Maggie and Perloff, they shine so bright, like a star in the desert on a Texas night. Daily says it's shady, but I swear on my name, I just push the buttons, I don't play no games. Now Peter Bellotti, well he don't show, and that man's supposed to be running this show. If there's a tech problem, don't look at me. Ask the guy who's missing more than Tennessee teeth. So Davey, my friend, don't spread that lie. I ain't no bandit, I just make strings fly.
Break ends in 5 seconds.
All right, welcome back. Maggie and Perloff. That triumphant music is on the show because we're debating the greatest boxing movie of all time, loosely based on the fact that Sydney Sweeney's in a boxing movie right now that nobody went to see apparently. But it made us think, what's the greatest boxing movie of all time? I think there's no sport that lends itself more to movies than boxing. Mm-hmm. Boxing won. Baseball has a lot of good movies. But to me, it's boxing, and I chose Rocky. Maggie?
Yeah, I chose Raging Bull. EJ chose Rocky 3. Manny sparked some controversy by picking Fight Club. And Bogish one was Cinderella Man. But I think I know why, too. Like, boxing is not an easy type of sport to shoot, but obviously much, easier than a football game, where you need to have multiple extras and, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And you're right. These movies, the camera's up close on guys. You can see the faces. Football is impossible. I mean, football, you need to get lucky. That being said, I don't even think this is a great debate. I feel like I should win this one.
Well, we'll see. Brad's in Oregon. Good morning, Brad. How are you?
Good, guys. Good. Thanks for taking my call this morning. I want to kind of get back on that Dallas trade.
Sure.
Luka didn't want to lose weight. I agree with Perloff. Why he didn't want to lose weight and come into, season in shape and everything like that. He was wanting a ton of money signing for this new contract that was coming up. And plus, at the time, Dallas was needing a player that could play defense. AD, when he's healthy, he's the best defensive player in the league, one of the best. And all around, I don't agree with the trade, but I could see what Dallas was kind of looking at. Should they have asked other teams to get a better haul? Yes. But going back to that trade the day that it happened, anybody that believed that LeBron James did not know about this trade has got to be living in Wonderland.
Well, Brad, that's a whole other side of this thing.
Yeah.
Brad, thank you for the call. I'm just going to disagree on this one point. I know that we love when, we have a Michael Jordan who's a one-of-one where your best offensive player was also your best defensive player, Pearl. But that's not how it always works in the NBA. Like, Nikola Jokic is not a really good defensive player, quite frankly. And you want to know what? They figured out a way to build a team around him that highlights his strengths, his incredible scoring and passing ability, the way he sees the floor, his intelligence, all of that. Like, I don't know if to be a winner or even to be considered a great player, do you necessarily have to be the greatest two-way player of all time? Like, I think that's kind of what Brad was not maybe saying totally, but he's like, they needed defense and Luka doesn't provide that. Well, not every superstar is like that. And teams still win championships.
Luka was a problem. You had to build a defense around him. So how do you build a team? Because Luka needs shooters around him, and it's just a tricky combination of how to. And we'll see how the Lakers do it. I'm not sure the Lakers are going to be able to build it. It's hard. And okay, I'm going to say this because it sounds stupid, but Jokic won one title. He's probably going to end his career as a top 10 NBA player. He's going to have a little Aaron Rodgers feel. Like, why could this guy only win one title? He was so dominant. Denver, it's not that easy with him not being a dominant defender like Tim Duncan. There are limits on what Denver can do as well. I mean, listen, it's better if you have a Michael Jordan type. That's all I'm saying. Or LeBron. When LeBron focuses on defense, it's insane. He can dominate a game that side of the ball too. So that is a flaw. It's not something to just be dismissed. You're right. You don't need it necessarily, but if a player like Luka should be better on defense. Actually, I don't know if he's playing better in LA, but he definitely was not trying hard in Dallas.
Listen, I mean, Steph Curry, they've had to hide on defense.
Yeah, Steph's a good one.
There are guys who are considered all-time great players who you can win with who aren't great defenders.
Well, SGA is probably the fifth best defender in the starting lineup of the Thunder, but he's kind of still awesome at defense because the Thunder are great.
Yeah, that's true. Let's get to Andrew Bogish, who's got headlines for us. And by the way, you can go vote. The poll is up at Maggie and Pearl for the greatest boxing movie of all time. And you can also leave your responses there or in the chat, youtube.com/InfinitySportsNet.
These headlines are sponsored by Progressive Commercial Insurance, protecting your business vehicles 24/7. See if you can save at progressivecommercial.com.
How about middle fingers?
Well, we got carried away with Gus Johnson last update. Didn't get to tell you that Indiana stays number 2 in the new CFP rankings. Ohio State, A&M, and Alabama also again getting first-round byes. The projected first-round matchups are Georgia, South Florida, Texas Tech, Miami, Oregon, Notre Dame, and Ole Miss, Texas. Travis Hunter is officially done for the season. The Jaguars say the rookie had surgery yesterday to repair his LCL. He'll be back to full activity in 6 months. And here in New York, the Giants reportedly elevating Jameis Winston to number 2 on the depth chart because
I look good, and I know it.
And because Russell Wilson doesn't. This puts Jameis in line to start Sunday's game with the Packers if Jackson Dart is still in concussion protocol.
Wait, can I say something? So Mike Kafka, however you pronounce it, Kafka is now the interim head coach.
That's right, Margaret.
And I don't think anyone actually thought, Pearl, that he would become the head coach of the New York Giants. Nobody thinks that.
Right, it'd be an unusual one, yeah.
However, the move to Jameis immediately upon getting this job is probably one that's going to make him pretty popular.
Yeah. He's been obviously rumored to be a head coach before. I know he's had many interviews.
Yeah, the last 2 cycles he's interviewed for multiple jobs. Yes.
By the way, Jameis is going to get probably a little destroyed by Micah Parsons, but whatever.
Who's he throwing to is the problem too, right? Like
Darius Slayton. We already discussed.
Oh
that.
yeah, Slayton was kind of
Is
fire.
Wan'Dale Robinson still available?
Yes. Well, I don't think you only probably what do you need 12 points to beat the Packers right now. So the way Matt LaFleur is coaching,
Yeah, just 2 touchdowns to Lil Jordan Humphrey.
yeah. By the way, I'm sorry to take it. Do you know who got killed on the internet yesterday? All the analytics are just destroying Matt LaFleur. It's destroying. And we'll see it against the Giants. Like
which number?
Like
he's so reliant on the running.
Gotten up and beaten Matt LaFleur over the head with something. Like
he is the most run-heavy coach in this century of all time. Like he's the most every analytic person. He's the most predictable running on first and second down. He's killing the Packers. That is the NFL cognoscente, the Ben Solaks of the world from ESPN. They are all anti-LaFleur. Watch it. You heard it here first. People are turning on LaFleur, and I think he is going to wear this Packers thing. If they lose to Jameis Winston, that is a massive problem. You're right. I know the way you said that. You're like, you think Jameis could win this game?
No.
You're talking.
I do.
You're
I do
talking
too.
about future head coach Matt LaFleur? Future Giants head coach Matt LaFleur?
They're not going to want it. If they beat him in this game, they're not going to take him. I mean, if the Packers do not beat Mike Kafka and Jameis Winston, assuming it's Winston and not Jackson.
Yeah.
It's going to be Winston, I think.
Yeah, we're going to have some serious conversations about the Packers.
P.S. Everybody that's covering the Giants keeps mentioning Mike McCarthy. Speaking of former Packers.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I mean,
not great.
They called me a madman literally yesterday.
I see a lot of
Halfley.
Halfley.
It really makes sense.
Halfley, McCarthy, and Spags are the universal suggestions. And then there's the occasional Lane Kiffin. There's the occasional Antonio Pierce.
Oh, yeah,
obviously, there's the Belichick tack on.
Yeah, Spagnuolo and Pierce were great head coaches.
Manny, you're not going to be happy with anybody.
No,
I mean, to be fair
I'm
to
not.
Spags, he
No,
was
I'm
a
not.
head coach when the Rams were still in St. Louis, so he may have learned a few things winning all those Super Bowls with the Chiefs.
Wait, he didn't have Kurt Warner?
Don't you forget the interim.
Nick Foles.
Don't you forget the interim period that he had with the New York Football Giants. Don't you forget about that one too.
Oh, after what, McAdoo got fired?
Yeah, I think so.
1-3.
Oh.
Oh, right. It was the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
Oh, no, the end of the year.
End
But
of
it's
the year.
after the boat trip, the infamous boat trip, Odell Beckham Jr. on the boat with the Timberlands on.
Jackson, don't get on a boat.
No boats, no Tims for Jackson Dart.
The Denver Nuggets pushed their win streak to 5 last night, 122-108 in Sacramento. Nikola Jokic, 33 points, 15 rebounds, 7 assists. On the flip side, the Kings are now 3-8. So Doug Christie was feeling it post-game.
Good evening. Good evening. Some of you guys, I think everybody in here knows me. If you don't, my name is Douglas Dale Christie. I'm head coach of the Sacramento Kings. Okay? Change is hard, y'all. It's hard. But understand, and we understand, that we're not there yet.
He introduced himself?
But we about to work at it like crazy. We totally get that. And it'll be bumpy. It will. Because change is like that. But buckle up. For the real ones, buckle up.
Huh? There were 2 more minutes of this speech, and then he left. No questions from reporters last
He
night.
was the coach last year.
He was the interim coach last year. They've played 11 games already, but now it's time to buckle up. Now the hard work
When he
begins.
introduced himself, it kind of sounded like a meeting. Like, did he realize where he was, but he
Nope.
gave too much information?
Yeah. He coached 51 games last year. He said, we're about to get this thing going. I'm like, what? You've been coaching for a year. What are you talking about?
What were we doing last year?
The introduction as well just gave me Deshaun Foster vibes.
We're in LA. It's us and USC.
It's us and the Lakers and the California and the Warriors.
It's so funny, too, the irony of introducing yourself to the Kings media, which is also the team you are most remember for
media,
playing.
Maggie. He worked with them. Those are his former colleagues.
I forgot he did TV for them.
There's only like 8 of them.
Why did he do that?
I don't know. I don't know why I got the full government name introduction.
Yeah, name
but
and rank.
He was on one.
Something weird is going on with that team because
You think?
Zach Levine was crashing out the other day too.
How about this Manny started a debate today, is Fight Club a boxing movie? Maybe he's getting up there like, I am Robert Paulson. He might as well have said that. Would have made just as much sense.
Let's jump to college hoops. Number 12, Louisville winning its rivalry game with 9th-ranked Kentucky, 96-88. 7th-ranked BYU beat Delaware 85-68 after trailing by 13 in the first half. A.J. Dybanson with 18 points and 7 boards. A double repeat for managers of the year. Milwaukee's Pat Murphy, Cleveland's Stephen Voigt winning again. Murphy joining Bobby Cox as the only repeat winners in NL history. Tampa Bay's Kevin Cash doubled up just a few years ago.
The great thing is it's right in front of us.
Can't believe he got snubbed.
Wasn't even a finalist, right?
Oh, can you believe that?
Not even top 3.
Asinine stuff.
All those
Wait,
wins?
Tony La Russa never won a back-to-back NL Manager of the
guess
Year?
back-to-back's the thing,
St.
yeah.
Louis?
I mean, there is like a logical argument that if you won last year, how much better of a job could you have done the next year to win again? You know what I mean?
It's like winning back-to-back comeback player of the years.
Yeah, like you did it. You
Chad
did the
Pennington
same
style.
thing last year.
Did he do that?
Basically.
Yeah, I mean, Vogt, at least, I guess, had that great last 5 or 6 weeks to chase down the Twins, but that's like AL Central Manager of the Year, not the entire American League. John Schneider won 94 games in Toronto.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but I guess doing it back-to-back is the rarity.
Does mean you get fired twice now? Like most people who
Only if you're the Marlins manager would you be fired.
Coach of the year, you get fired soon. So
Yeah,
you get
Coach
fired.
of the Year is kiss of death.
He's gonna get double fired.
I
now?
wouldn't want anywhere near that award. The moment you win it, all of a sudden the expectations is that you're the greatest coach of all time. And when you're not, you get fired.
Ask Brian Dable.
Didn't work out well for him. He should have never won in the first place. 888-710-4.
Kevin Stefanski's coming for you too.
888-710-4476. Okay, guys. Let's continue our conversation about the greatest boxing movie of all time. This is based off of Sydney Sweeney's boxing movie premiere. Can we say her name without you giggling?
No.
Coming up, we do have one question. Playing the blame game when it comes to one NFL team.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back, Maggie Perloff Show. Lots going on today, so glad you're with us. Reacting to Nico Harrison getting the axe, Pearl, and we all knew this was coming at some point or another. You can't make that Luka Doncic trade and think you're just going to, skip through the daisies for the next 20 years? Not happening.
Why 11 games into the season or whatever? That makes no sense. So I don't know why they didn't do it in the offseason.
Well, they're 3-8, so I don't think the vision is coming together. I think was probably the straw that broke the camel's back, so to speak. We also have a great debate going today because it is Wednesday, so we do that every Wednesday, loosely based on the news. What's the greatest boxing movie of all time? This is off of Sydney Sweeney, who's become slight obsession here on the show. Her boxing movie is out now to mixed reviews. Let's go to Sean's in Oregon. What's up, Sean?
Hey, thanks for taking my call. I think this is one of the easiest debates, and I'm going to say this Rocky because it was the only movie worth making a sequel over. And I'll say, Perloff, you're kind of letting me down here, brother.
How so?
Because you're the guy that usually gets people on these technicalities, and you know that in a court of law, Fight Club does not hold up. There's not even a boxing ring, brother.
Oh, Sean, I totally said that. I said there's no boxing gloves. There's a million reasons. Although I do love the movie.
And I want to defend Nico Harrison a little bit here. You know, I remember after that finals, they didn't say that Luka was bad on defense. They said that he was a sieve. And I remember when Boston needed a basket, they just went after Luka. And it's really hard building around a one-way player. I mean, you look at go down the line, brother. I mean, defensive players that play offense well, you don't need to be the best defensive player like Michael Jordan, but you look at like Giannis. You look at any of these guys. You look at we won a championship with Bill Walton. You look at anybody. Most of them are on at least like the first or second defensive team. Most guys at least know how to play defense.
Sean, what about Steph Curry?
Steph Curry? Well, Steph Curry's a great offensive player. He's not even the leader on his team. And we all know that Draymond Green stirs the drink on that team.
No, but you're talking, but who's going to end up higher on an all-time greatest list, Steph Curry or Draymond Green? And I know you know the answer to that. And Steph Curry has to get hidden on defense.
You're just pointing out an offensive player, and he's a one of one.
Okay, Jokic.
So, if you're going to be...
So now I got 2 of 2.
I'm not going to roll the dice and just hope I can build around somebody like that.
Yeah, but Sean, you're discounting then Luka. Here's the thing, though, Sean. Here, and I get your point. I'm not trying to come after you. How many times, though, do we have guys who got to the finals the first time and failed there? And that was not indicative of how the rest of their career was going to go, right?
But let me ask you this, Maggie, and anyone else who's calling. I see there's some other calls on this.
Thank you, Sean. Talk to you soon.
Do you expect Luka to win the title this year in LA?
I don't know. It's like his
I
first
don't know.
full season in LA.
But just again, it's a challenge to figure out how do I build a championship team around this guy. That's sort of what I was talking about. I was obviously not defending the trade, but I do think it's good. It's hard. It's going to take a really, to get Steph Curry to a title, they had to build this amazing system.
Okay, and that there are other people who are innovative and can build rosters.
Yeah.
Nico Harrison wasn't one of them.
Definitely.
I don't know if Rob Pelinka and JJ Redick are the guys. But also, can I just point this out? Luka's 26. When we talk about athletic primes and we talk about guys when they get into their championship window, Pearl, do we actually talk about guys who are 22 and 23? Not really. LeBron took a while. Jordan took a while. Giannis took a long time. Obviously, he came in much more raw into the league. Jokic took a minute. He came in raw to the league, was a second-round pick. So
Wemby's already there at 21. But
let's see if Wemby can make it through the season.
So wait, but I have a real question for you though. What's what do you do with Luka? Do you want shooters around him, LeBron style? Do you want a passing system like Steph Curry? I'm not quite sure. I'm really curious. I want to watch the Lakers a lot. I know they're having a pretty good start, but I see they're 13th in championship odds this year, which is kind of weird with a player that good. I do think it's interesting. I'm not defending the trade by any means, but I do think you have to be smart about how you build around Luka. And Luka has to change too, which I think he will. Luka has to share the ball a little more. I've always thought that.
Jeff is in St. Louis. Good morning, Jeff.
I just want to, Perloff, this is the worst take. Those are the same thoughts that were bouncing around Nico Harrison's head as he was trying to justify himself making that trade. And then he went to his Nepo baby owner, who literally has no idea what's going on, and was able to convince him, oh, hey, let's do that. And now look what's happened. I mean, it's a complete debacle. They got Cooper Flagg. He had the best college team that they could have last year. He couldn't win the title with them. Even the trade is bad. Michael Bridges brought 5 first-round draft picks back. Michael Bridges. And then he trades for a broke-down Anthony Davis, who's 6 years older. Luke is a 5-time first-team All-NBA as a 25-year-old. And they get rid of him? None of it makes sense. It's just the worst trade in the history of the NBA. Every trade from this point on is a Nico trade. You're right. And Maggie, you're exactly right. Young guy, keep going, build around him. They had Gafford. They had Lively, 2 long guys that play really good defense. Very young. This team would have melded together without Nico, and they would have found a way to do it. It's just the worst trade ever.
Jeff, drop the mic. Fantastic call. You're right about this. And, I don't even see anyone who's ever saying Jason Kidd. Are you even sure you had the right coach for this team?
He feels like he's pretty well thought of, though.
Yeah, because he's an
for him.
amazing player. What did he do in Brooklyn? What did he do in Milwaukee? I just am saying, it just feels like Luka wore this entire thing that it was a failure when they were just in the finals. How is that a negative? And I think that's what crushes Mavs fans the most. You were building.
Yeah. I don't know. I think the ultimate question is Luka going to end up his career closer to Dirk with a title, or is he going to end up like James Harden, where he is going to win an MVP and have millions of numbers? And I think part of that's how does Luka develop? And so far the signs are good in LA because he's got his body in shape, LeBron style. I think it's going to end up more like Dirk, but I think there's a chance he just ends up as this amazing statistical player who falls just short of a title. And you know why? It's really, really hard to build a champion in the NBA, especially with the stupid Thunder looming around. They could win the next 6 titles in the West the way they're playing. So I do think there's a lot TBD. No, Nico, I'm not defending the trade, just to be clear, but I like the caller said, I understand the thinking. It's not easy to build a champion around Luka Doncic.
888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. We got more on the firing of Nico Harrison, the architect of the Luka Doncic trade, in just a moment. Plus, a superstar's on the verge of return in the NFL. It's the Maggie Perloff Show.
You're in a 5-minute break. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
College football playoff rankings are out, and I think wrong. Welcome to the show. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. Now, these college football playoff rankings, Pearl, are really confusing, I think, to the average fan because it's just a ranking, 1 through 25, but that's not how the bracket gets seeded.
Yeah.
The bracket is not just a 1 through 12 straight up. You have to have 4 conference champions. You have to have the group of 5 champion. So it's a little bit odd, but let's pause on the top 3 because that's really where my issue comes in. So Ohio State retains the number 1 spot. Indiana retains number 2, and Texas A&M is number 3. And I think it's odd that Texas A&M didn't climb in the rankings considering they just beat a ranked opponent on the road. Now, I'll grant you, Mizzou was onto their backup quarterback, but still, they beat a ranked opponent on the road where Indiana had to escape Penn State, and Ohio State basically had a bye week where they got to play Purdue, and somehow Texas A&M with another quality road win does not matter in these rankings.
So the way you would just yo-yo the rankings based on the last game then?
Well, I think that it's about your resume at the time, is it not?
Well, right, but then your rankings are going to be wildly inconsistent. You say you have a team at 6 and a team at 5, and the team at 6 beats the number 10 team and the 5 out an easy game, so you just automatically jump over anybody with impressive wins?
Well, I would just say this. Where's Ohio State's other quality wins besides the first week of the season? We are still in August back then. They beat Texas at home 14-7, and Texas was terrible. And then they have another ranked win against Illinois, and Illinois is kind of fallen apart this year. They're not who we thought they were going to be. So I just think overall Texas not only is coming off the better win, Texas A&M has the better resume, and I just don't see how they're still buried behind Ohio State and Indiana.
They're 3.
I know.
Buried feels like a strong word.
Yeah.
Maybe you can make a case for Indiana because Indiana had such a bad game against Penn State. But
now you're reacting to every game.
But
doing the same thing I am.
Yeah, no, I would. I mean, no, I'm not. There's no reason to drop Ohio State from number 1. Not only have nobody's challenged them except for Texas in week 1. And they're just stacked. It's an eye test, which is what the committee says it is. I don't know. Like, how do you fault them just because there's nobody on their schedule and it's a rotating Big Ten? If it comes down to the final decision, if Ohio State loses 2 games and they're going up against an SEC team that has 2 losses, then yes, I'll get into your argument here and give the team with a harder schedule. But there's nothing Ohio State could do. There's no reason to drop them. I mean, they haven't shown any flaws.
Okay, well, I love when the eye test is always the last thing that they bring up, right? It's because if you hit somebody with numbers and you hit somebody with all the other metrics that they should use to come up with this college football playoff ranking, and then they decide to ignore all of that, they'll say the eye test. And it's maddening. Can I just give you that it's some numbers behind this? So strength of record, right? Strength of record, Texas A&M is number 1 in this ranking. Strength of schedule, if we're going college football power index, so now we're talking about every single team, okay? They are 15th, Texas A&M, strength of schedule. Ohio State is 41. It's not even in the same ballpark. And this is what people were crying about last year when it came to Indiana. Indiana made the college football playoff. They didn't play anybody. They were feasting on the bottom of the Big Ten, and it looked like a flaw in the process. Now there's a chance to rectify these kinds of things, and the committee is choosing not to do it. Now I'm taking 3 look like elite teams, top 3, and maybe you can interchange them all. But if you're going to have a philosophy where your record and strength of schedule actually matter, then how is A&M not number 1 on this list?
So wait, let me ask you a question. What about strength of victory? Like, do you count that in if it's a close win or a blowout win?
So I don't think it's that impressive for Ohio State to be grambling 70-0.
No.
And that plays in, right? Isn't
No. But I mean, like, for example, the Texas A&M had close games against Auburn and Arkansas.
But I don't mind that because their overall schedule is harder than Ohio State. They don't have the gimmies all over the schedule like the Buckeyes do.
So, okay, say this week, if they dropped Ohio State from 1 to 2.
Yeah.
What would you tell Ohio State fans? Why did you drop? What's the answer?
The answer is Texas A&M climbed. They leapfrogged you. They jumped you. You didn't do anything wrong. You beat Purdue. And next week you'll probably beat UCLA, and then you're going to beat Rutgers. Congrats. Texas A&M still has to play Texas.
So your rankings are going to be crazy. Everything's going to move. By the way, it's not just 1, 2, 3. Like, you're going to have to move everything up to 25 based on the opponents from the week before. I think you need some level of consistency here. You can't drop a team who blew coming off a blowout. I mean, they do sometimes, but you really should.
I was going to say, I watched Texas, the Longhorns, climb 3 spots in the rankings on a bye week.
I mean, they have 2 top 10. They have 2 wins over top 10 teams. They've been way more impressive than A&M in a sense.
Well, have they?
I mean, they beat Vanderbilt and they beat Oklahoma. Oklahoma, I guess Mateer was a little banged up.
A little banged up. He was 8 days off of 17 days off of thumb surgery.
But if you just look at the metrics, those were incredibly impressive wins. So
okay, well then I've got Texas A&M beat Notre Dame.
Yeah,
in
that's
South
one.
Bend.
And I have Ohio State beating Texas.
Well, Texas did a neutral site. So
Okay.
I've got a team with a true road game, and I would say Notre Dame, hard place to play. So listen, we could quibble about all of this. I'm just saying, I think that I'm with the public here, or rather, I think the public's with me in that I think the strength of schedule and strength of record should matter. We're sick of some of these teams because it rotates every year. Your schedule rotates. That if you get, a year where you don't play anybody in the Big Ten, all of a sudden you get a red carpet to the college football playoff, whether your team passes an eye test or not.
Yeah, but they're playing really well. I mean, that's the other thing, too. Like, their offense looks great. Julian Sain's gotten better week by week. Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate obviously have been as dominant as expected. They have some defensive stars stepping up. Obviously, we know Caleb Downs, Arvell Reese. So, what do you think? I put up a rogue poll. Who should be ranked higher, Ohio State or Texas A&M? Where do you think the public is on that one?
Definitely Ohio State. They have a bigger brand. That's
yeah, and also they're loaded with pros. A&M is too, but really Ohio State. Ohio State is probably better than last year's team, amazingly. And last year's team won the title. Everything you say makes great sense, and I am a big strength of schedule opponent. I just don't think you can drop Ohio State coming off an easy win. It just doesn't make any real sense. I get why the committee did that. And also, there's no real meaningful impact of 1, 2, 3. If you want to make the case that Indiana should have fallen, I will definitely listen to you. But Ohio State clearly looks like the number 1 team right now.
888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Okay, so you can weigh in on whether or not the committee got it right at the top. Ohio State 1, Indiana 2, Texas A&M is 3. We can go on from there, Alabama, Georgia, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, the big news from yesterday, Pearl. Nico Harrison of the Dallas Mavericks gets fired. And quite frankly, we knew this was going to happen the day he made this Luka trade because it was so nonsensical at the time. Even if you didn't think the Mavericks were built properly, or even if you think that Luka Doncic is a flawed player because he's not a defensive whiz.
And he was out of shape.
Trading a superstar in his prime like that is, for what they got back, is just, it's unconscionable. And Nico Harrison is the one who has to pay the price for it, and he should. However, the bigger flaws still remain with the Mavericks. In case in point, their owner, who is new. It's not Mark Cuban anymore. It's this guy, Patrick Dumont, who is a son-in-law of the casino magnate family, the Adelsons. Okay? So a lot of people, myself included, believe that the only reason why they want to buy the Mavericks in the first place is because they're trying to lobby to get sports gambling and casino games legalized in Texas. Because obviously that'd be it's a huge state, massive population. They're seeing dollar signs.
Sure.
And the way to do that is to buy a team. You get celebrity, fame, public trust, the whole deal, right? It's sports ownership is like the way to the top and to get yourself famous really fast and influential. But he obviously knows nothing about sports. If he allowed Nico Harrison to talk him into this and now is completely reverse course 9 months later, there clearly is a power vacuum here. It's an unstable situation as far as the basketball is concerned. And I think you really got to be fearful for Cooper Flagg that the ownership group is not going to mess this up.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with all that. I do think owning a team is a purpose in itself. You don't need to build a casino. It's still awesome to own an NBA team. It's my ultimate dream. If I had the money, I would definitely buy the Sixers. But sometimes bad owners trip into good teams. It happens all over the place. For example, I know you have a problem with the Knicks owner. They're pretty darn good right now.
Well, they were bad for 20 years.
Bad, yeah. I mean,
he took them over and they immediately went into the toilet.
What about the Melo year? I'm just kidding. What about Linsanity? You forget Linsanity?
It was 2 weeks. And then he ruined that.
Yeah, I just think that in the NBA, having an erratic ownership group doesn't necessarily guarantee that you are going to be terrible, because there is a chance that he trips into something good with Cooper Flag. It could be funny. I mean, listen, I know the one he gets compared to a lot is Matt Ishbia in Phoenix. It seems like they will not be good anytime soon, but I do think Dallas could make the right hire and luck into something here, because that does happen in the NBA.
All right, well, what does that hire even look like, right? Is this a situation where Jason Kidd, the head coach, moves into the front office and maybe they hire a new coach? Heard John Shire, the Duke head coach, get thrown around. Maybe that's
promising.
Do you go with like I don't want to say more run-of-the-mill classic GM, someone who's been around a little bit? I don't know, like David Griffin or something like that. I don't know. I just think there's so many ways you can screw this up. And I have no faith that this new owner, even if he has good intentions, I don't know if he knows his you-know-what from his elbow when it comes to how to build a basketball team.
Yeah, but he's an owner, right? So he's supposed to delegate that. Maybe he learned his lesson and will delegate that more. He was just delegating to the wrong man.
Well, and also the pompous behavior that came along with it. Not just to trade Luka Doncic, right? Which even if you want to twist yourself into a pretzel to say why that made sense for them, to trash him on the way out. And I thought it was kind of like a classless move, too. Like the quote that he had was basically compared Luka, said, "You're not like Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, Kobe, or Shaq. They worked really hard every day with a singular focus to win. Maybe the first three. I don't know about Shaq. Even he might say that." And then he said, "This is the only way to be competitive and win. If you want to take a vacation, don't do it with us," implying that Luka Doncic was like mailing it in, or that he was coasting off of someone else. And this is the first comments he made to the Dallas Morning News after they made the Luka trade. Like, you didn't have to do that.
No. Well, that's why he's gone. One of many reasons.
No, that's the owner who said that.
Oh, the owner
said this.
Yeah.
Again, I don't trust this situation at all. And new owner-itis can be like long COVID. It can stay with you for a while. Sometimes guys learn their lessons and they start delegating, and other times it takes 20 years like it did with James Dolan.
What if they're terrible this year and they get into this draft, which is already shaping up to be very, very impactful, and get a top 3 pick? Did you guys watch that Kansas-North Carolina game where Darren Peterson was supposed to be the big star? Then the North Carolina kid is amazing too. It could be that you pair Cooper Flag with a generational star shooting guard, and boom, you're an NBA power again. I'm just telling you, NBA is funny. It's not like you don't necessarily need a Howie Roseman to win a title if you get lucky with the lottery balls. So if I'm a Mavericks fan, first of all, I'm happy today because Nico Harrison is fired, and B, I'm staying optimistic about Cooper Flag despite this ownership situation that you described, because it's not necessarily that simple. Like my owner is a dummy who listens to some kid in a Lakers jersey. They could be good around Cooper Flag in 5 years. It's possible. It's possible the Mavericks win a title before the Lakers.
Listen, if Cooper Flag is really awesome in 5 years, then they can trade him to LA. Fantastic. And who would they get back? Bronny James for his defense. I don't know. I'm just kidding. Meanwhile, Anthony Davis now, he's going to be out for a while. And the irony of this is that Anthony Davis showed up to camp out of shape. With all the Luka smoking hookah and the Luka drinking beer, I hated that rhymed. Anthony Davis showed up out of shape, and now he's got a calf issue, and he's out.
Yeah. Got to trade him to a contender, maybe get some more capital. By that calf issue and out of shape, that'll change the second he goes to a winning team.
He'll be on the cover of Men's Health, just like Luka did. Oh,
he'd be a good fit with the Lakers.
Yeah, I saw someone posting, should the Lakers trade back for him?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, if you could get Luka and Anthony on the same team, that would have saved Nico's job.
Didn't he leave the group chat or something? There was something about Anthony Davis on the way out.
Well, Bronny revealed that he was being traded.
Right, Bronny, the funny part, Bronny was the one who told the group chat that Anthony Davis was traded, which
South Bay Lakers legend,
tough.
Bronny James.
I thought Anthony Davis took a shot at somebody on the way out.
Bronny probably.
I think Anthony Davis, because of Rich Paul, is still in good terms with Team LeBron, right?
I think maybe that's some of it. Like, I think I think the question is, did LeBron know he was being traded? That's going to remain the question.
Oh, I see.
But we already had a caller today who said he's got beachfront property in Idaho if you think LeBron didn't know.
Right.
But Anthony Davis didn't fire them. He's still with...
he's still with Clutch.
He's still with Clutch?
Still with Clutch,
okay.
yeah. So they're definitely tied in. I mean, that would be the all-time funny if Anthony Davis went back to the Lakers.
The problem is you definitely have to trade Austin Reeves, and you'd have to try to match the salary, which is massive. I mean, Anthony Davis making $55 million.
I mean, they should have traded Reeves the first time around. They probably could have.
That would have been nice.
Anthony Davis said, everybody's saying nobody knew and all this other bleep, and I just don't believe it. Right. That's what it was.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. He thought LeBron knew about it.
It kind of makes sense. It's hard to believe that the greatest, current player would not know that.
The greatest current player who also basically founded the most powerful sports agency.
That being said, someone might have told LeBron, hey, the Mavs want to trade Luka to the Lakers for Anthony Davis. And he wouldn't believe it. He'd be like, no, that's not happening. Stop pulling my leg. LeBron thought, I know what you're saying. You're just joking. Probably didn't believe it was true.
Yeah. Probably thought it was NBA Central.
Yeah.
Don't central me.
Fake Twitter account. 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476.
Yeah, BSAC Sports.
Yeah, right. Let's get to, superstar on the mend and coming back. Could it change the playoff picture in the NFL? Maggie and Perloff Show.
I thought I got Centel.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. "45 seconds remaining. "30 seconds remaining. "15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back, Maggie and Perloff Show. Great Debate Wednesday. Today we're doing the greatest boxing movie of all time, loosely based on the Sidney Sweeney boxing movie that no one is going to the theater to see. I am actually a little proud of us, Maggie, and I'm also a little disappointed at the same time that this greatest boxing movie has not turned into a debate about what's the best Rocky movie, because we all have different opinions here. I chose Rocky 1 for this exercise. I know that EJ chose Rocky 3, and you are famously a different Rocky.
Oh, I love Rocky 4. I think it's because of like when I was born or something.
Yeah.
Like there was very much like
he did save the world.
I feel like the plot of most of the things I grew up watching was about like Russia and the U.S. in the Cold War, because by the time I got around, it was like the mid-90s, early mid-90s. It was very much a theme.
Yeah. I just think that Rocky...
There was a Cold War?
Yeah, like Rocky 4, the movie Spies Like Us, basically those two things.
Yeah. Rocky 4 was a bit cheesy, though. And so was Rocky 3. Rocky 1 was not cheesy. It was many things. It was kind of depressing, actually. But it wasn't cheesy. So, like, obviously, like the robot and Paulie and, like, I don't know. Like, there was a lot of cheesy elements in those 3 and 4 where 1 did not have those.
Well, listen, one man's cheese is another man's cinematic masterpiece. And so you and I see these things differently. Listen, and I'm a big sequels person, so Rocky 4 to me is the best. I picked Raging Bull for this one, not because I was trying to be artsy-fartsy, just because I think this is a great movie. Like, it's depressing. I don't want to rewatch it ever, really, but I did love it when I saw it.
So the bull does die at the end, is what you're telling me.
Yeah, the Bronx Bull gets very
It's from the Bronx? Oh, this is a horror story.
The way they shot the boxing was awesome. Well, Martin Scorsese. There's a new Martin Scorsese doc out that's supposed to be amazing. A lot of Raging Bull in there, but it's so depressing. Come on.
So a good thing too about boxing, we were talking about like actors and actresses who want to take on these roles. What do we always say is the toughest part about an actor being in a sports movie?
Playing the sport.
Yeah, like when they're not actually good at the actual athletic achievement. You know, if a guy can't shoot a jump shot, I'm not going to believe that you could have played for Nick Nolte.
Like Glenn Powell in that.
Did you watch it?
No, not.
But I got to tell you, him throwing is a distraction.
Yeah, like guys, if you aren't good at sports,
and I love that actor. He's great.
You can't really do this. I think boxing, there's a way to shoot around it, or like there's a way to train that kind of becomes a little idiot proof. Like you can look like you throw a punch if you train enough. Your body actually has to get super right, but it might be a little harder than like shooting a basket or throwing a spiral. I don't know.
I think it's a little easier. I mean, Mark Wahlberg in The Fighter, he's a great he's clearly a good athlete. You got to get ripped. Like De Niro was shredded in Raging Bull. And then
he was fat in Raging Bull. He had to do both.
You know, it was an interesting body transformation. Will Smith tried to make his body look like Ali in the Michael Mann version. Ali did a really good job.
Yeah.
But and he's a good athlete too, clearly. So I think those guys are good athletes. But to me, it's really, can you shoot a basketball? That's how I mostly define athleticism in my life.
and the Oscars.
There it is.
Yeah.
Who just shot the best basket on camera? Give him all the awards.
Well,
you should not watch High School Musical then.
I had a real problem with the movie with Woody Harrelson and Wesley Snipes. Wesley Snipes clearly, and he admitted, never played basketball in his life.
White
and
Man
they would
Can't
shoot
Jump?
around him. And White Man Can't Jump. They would shoot around Wesley Snipes, and he had like one move that he could do that he kept showing. I'm like, there's no way Wesley Snipes and Woody Harrelson are beating like these two NBA level players.
He can only go left.
Yeah, I mean,
Wesley Snipes was in Major League, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I think they said that Wesley Snipes was one of the slowest people on the set. That scene where he wakes up after he got cut. Apparently he's like in real motion, and the guys that he's racing against are in slow motion. Apparently he's not an athlete. I don't know.
He looks good running.
He's a good sword fighter and Blade.
You know, I'd almost say like the best run on camera, is Tom Cruise.
One person's famous. Tom Cruise is notoriously the best runner.
I would have thought Wesley Snipes could have been a close two, though, because that's a great scene where he wakes up and they put his bed outside.
He looks great. He's got the arm motion.
Exactly.
Yeah, apparently he is slower than molasses.
Couldn't outrun the tax.
You know who's not one of the greatest runners? Morris Chestnut in Boyhood.
Just a bit outside.
Not good.
Really?
I mean, doesn't end well for him as he's running away.
He's not running fast enough, you're saying?
No, he did not run fast enough.
The worst, this is a niche movie that probably not everyone saw. There's a movie called Basquiat, really good movie. Young Jeffrey Wright was in it.
Of course.
Him and Benicio del Toro, who's a famous actor, were shooting hoops in a downtown New York thing. They're the worst two shooters I've ever seen in my life. It almost ruined what was a great movie to get. I think it got Oscar buzz. I'm like, if they could just shoot a little better. But my favorite basketball scene, though, is Philip Seymour Hoffman in Along Came Polly.
Wow.
Have you guys seen that? Benny, have you seen that one?
I've seen clips on Instagram.
Yeah, you can see it. It's two guys who can't play basketball. Philip Seymour Hoffman, the late, is, I don't even know what he did in the basketball scene, but bad basketball, it kind of ruins a movie, but it makes a comedy. That being said, I think you can fake boxing. You're right. Like, you don't really have to be that good. Was Russell Crowe good in Cinderella Man?
So right now, Rocky is winning our poll by a lot, 57%. I'm second.
Over Rocky 3.
Yeah, I'm second, actually. Raging Bull at 18%, and Rocky 3 at 17%, Cinderella Man 8%. Manny's pick of Fight Club kind of stretched the bounds of what you could consider a boxing movie.
Don't be mad at me. Be mad at boxing for not being relevant over the past 20 so years.
Well, you haven't seen.
If it's boxing's fault.
There's so many boxing movies. You never saw When We Were Kings, a documentary about Ali. Nothing.
No.
Or
you never saw
Creed.
Ali, Creed.
No, not familiar with the Creeds.
Rocky Balboa.
I haven't watched the Rockies.
You could do it. I know what you're talking about, but the two are not connected.
They're not.
I mean, they're connected, but they're whatever. You're messing with me now, but
I'm not. I'm trying to figure this out.
no, you could definitely. You'd enjoy Creed 1.
Let's put it this way. Do you think you could watch Fast and the Furious 7 if you never watched Fast and the Furious 1? Yes,
Yeah,
you
you
could.
can.
Yeah, they're same.
But
Just boxing.
Can't
edition.
watch Too Fast, Too Furious without watching The Fast and Furious.
Well, you can watch Tokyo Drift because that's on a
Yeah,
totally
Tokyo Drift
different.
is a completely different movie. It should have been a different franchise.
Yeah.
I'm
and
now suddenly
I wouldn't waste your
regretting
time.
bringing up
I've seen
this
Tokyo
analogy.
Drift like 4 times. By the way,
You brought up cars and explosions. You thought the boys wouldn't take over this conversation? Come on, this is your own fault.
I know. Well, the conversation started with Sydney Sweeney, so I'm actually surprised we got any work done today. Let's get to Bogus, who's got headlines.
Oh,
What's
hey,
up?
guys. Your headlines are sponsored by Skechers. Watch the Skechers
new.
World Champions Cup this December 4th, 5th, and 7th on ESPN and ABC.
Skechers World Champions?
I don't know. Jameis Winston is DTF, down to fill in for Jackson Dart. The Giants reportedly promoting Winston
Way to go.
number 2. Thank you. Number 2 on their depth chart, leapfrogging Russell Wilson. So Winston would start Sunday against the Packers if Dart remains in concussion protocols.
I thought of a great Tony Romo line. You're saying that because Tony Romo said that the Patriots are DTF. What was it? Discipline, training, and football. Or
Fundamentals.
something? Fundamentals.
This team is DTF, Jim.
Yeah, if there's a
Okay,
kicker,
friends.
a kicker can be BTK, like the famed BTK killer, born to kick.
That's the
Especially in
second.
Kansas City, where that's where the BTK killer is from.
That's the second time you've gotten to BTK this
Yeah.
morning. Are you okay?
But I didn't have it the first time. I didn't have the joke born to kick.
Right. But again,
You ever see Mindhunter? It's all about.
Yeah. I'm fascinated by serial killers. That show's great, but I didn't go to BTK off of DTF and Tony Romo.
My
did
favorite
twice.
steakhouse, STK.
There you go. Maggie, back to you.
I don't want no, back to you. I specifically said back to you.
More acronyms. The CFP rankings are the same, at least at the top from last week. Ohio State, Indiana, Texas A&M, and Alabama. What is new this week is Miami, the projected ACC champ, and South Florida included in the 12-team bracket as the group of 5 rep. The projected first-round matchups include Notre Dame and Oregon, and Texas Ole Miss.
I mean, it was great to see Miami in that bracket, but the college football playoff kind of did not do us a solid in terms of being clear about why they were there, because they're not number one in the ACC. They're not even close. It was ridiculous that they put them up there.
It's like they've designed this thing just to confuse people so that maybe your eyes will kind of glaze over and you'll just accept whatever they give you at the end of the season.
BCS, I'm telling you.
Sounds about right.
The 76ers won again last night, 102-100, partly because of a young man named Justin Edwards hitting 8 of 9 shots for 22 points. After one particular three-pointer, cameras caught Mr. Edwards yelling something naughty to his teammates. He was asked about that postgame with his mom sitting in the press conference.
I know, but if he say he's going to get a beating.
Well, yeah, she knows. Let's freaking go.
So there was mom to jump in and say he's going to get a beating for saying the F word.
Gotta have
Oh,
rules.
no.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm fully on board with the Sixers.
Yeah,
Not
we know,
only
you keep saying
two
that.
lefty shooting guards and Kelly Oubre being the best looking man in the NBA, and that he had a key play last night. This is all working out according to plan. No Embiid. Fine.
Yep.
Send him to the Dallas Mavericks. Get back somebody good.
Trade him for Nico?
No, I don't know. Is Cooper Flag available?
Trade for Cooper.
If Nico was still there, they definitely have to call
Give
and
him,
say,
a couple of first-round picks in the year 2050. Call it a day.
Honestly, Daryl Morey is lucky that he didn't get the
Yeah.
Nico treatment after he gave Embiid that dumb extension.
well, I mean, I don't think he was coming off an MVP anyway.
And
but
an ACL.
how about Derek Lively for Embiid? Who says no?
Yeah, the Sixers. I mean, the Mavericks, excuse me.
You don't know with that team, Maggie. It depends what the fan in the front row tells the owner to do.
True.
So good vibes in Philly, not so good vibes after the Warriors 126-102 loss in OKC. Golden State's now 6-6 after closing last season on a 23-8 run after trading for Jimmy Butler. Draymond Green was asked, what's different?
I think everybody was committed to winning and doing that any way possible. And right now, it doesn't feel that way.
Oh, okay. The Dubs already have 3 20-point losses this season. They had just 5 all of last year.
That was incredibly somber, man. Pick it up a little bit. You're on a losing streak. You're on a 6-6 team. Your dog didn't die. Come on, let's go.
Maybe he just needs to punch a teammate in the face or something.
Probably. Yeah.
Maybe his bull died.
Probably. I'd be raging too.
Duke men's basketball spend Veterans Day at West Point playing Army and honoring Coach K, who played and coached at Army. The Blue Devils with an un-American 114-59 win. Cam Boozer, 15 points, 9 boards, and 4 assists. I said the same thing a year ago. Cleveland's Stephen Vogt and Milwaukee's Pat Murphy are your baseball managers of the year. As we pointed out this morning, for Murphy, just the second repeat winner in National League history. The only other one, Atlanta's Bobby Cox. Hockey last night, the Stars got a 3-2 win in overtime in Ottawa. The Sharks a 2-1 OT win in Minnesota. And Columbus a 2-1 shootout win in Seattle. In regulation, the Capitals beat the Hurricanes 4-1. Alexander Ovechkin scoring career goal number 901 into an empty net. Guys, back to you.
That shouldn't count.
Bogues, thanks so much. Really quickly, Pearl, did you see that Joe Burrow is he's almost back?
Yeah.
Okay, let's hear a little Joe Burrow, can we, Manny? Now, Burrow talking about his return yesterday and the timetable. I'll hear cut 15, please. This is Joe Burrow.
Yeah, we'll see how these next couple weeks go. There's a lot that goes into it. Like you said, there's a lot of variables that you have to consider, and we're just going to see how these next couple weeks go, see how it feels.
Okay, so Bengals have lost 2 in a row. They're 3-6, but the rest of the division is clearly kind of jumbled up because the Steelers are in the lead at 5-4, and they might be going the wrong direction. Baltimore's at 4-5, probably going a better direction, and the Browns are the Browns. So here's Burrow, haircut 12, please, says the Bengals still have a shot in the AFC North.
Yeah, our division is wide open. There's a lot of, I think Pittsburgh's 5-4 at this point. We play them this week. So, everything is still there in front of us. It's very rare that our division looks like this, but it does this year. And so, I think we'll be at least in it until the end.
All right, what do you think? Is it going to be too little, too late for Burrow?
The great thing is, it's right in front of us.
Did have a little Aaron Boone in him, didn't he?
Way too late. That loss to the Bears was the death knell. Unfortunately, they should have won that game.
Mm-hmm.
They let up Colson Loveland, had a long touchdown to end the game. And the schedule is brutal. The defense still stinks unless Trey Hendrickson's suiting up. Forget it. I mean, how are they going to beat these good teams, even with Joe Burrow, who will not be 100%, obviously. It's a terrible idea. I don't know who's for this idea.
Probably Zach Taylor, who may be looking at the end of his tenure here with the Bengals if he can't find a way to end this thing on a high note. And, as Burrow just said, and you heard it, at Pittsburgh, New England, at Baltimore, that's a primetime game, then at Buffalo, Baltimore again, Miami, Miami is probably winnable. Arizona could be spry. It is just, I just would shut him down for the season.
Yeah.
But not only that, I'd shut him down for the season. I'd start looking for a new head coach. I just feel like they have wasted too much time with Burrow. And I say that even though they got to a Super Bowl. And to be honest, I think their next head coach should be a defensive guy. I know we all love offensive head coaches for great quarterbacks, Pearl, but they actually do need a defensive-minded head coach.
Yeah, but the problem with defensive-minded coaches is they then orient the team around the defense. If you're paying all your money for Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, and Jamar Chase, I think you kind of have to be a high-octane team. You can't turn into Mike Tomlin with Matt Canada. You have to rev up that machine like Dan Campbell style.
Yeah, see, the difference to me is I think Burrow and the offense kind of takes care of itself. I'm not trying to oversimplify it, but you have Burrow, you have Higgins, you have Chase. You have so much there. So the defense is what needs the love. The defense is what needs someone who can make chicken salad. You have to be able to find someone who's super creative, and they let Lou Anarumo go. Al Golden is obviously not the answer. They need more bodies, but they also need someone who is at the top of the profession.
Yeah, but say they hire Brian Flores, for example. Brian Flores is not going to want to open up the offense. Defensive guys instinctually want to be conservative. On 3rd and 11, they're going to run the ball.
Or just let the offense be the offense. We do this with offensive-minded head coaches all the time. We'll say they run the offense, and then, Wade Phillips, you can run the defense, or Brian Flores, you can run the defense. We think the offensive-minded head coaches delegate defense. Rex Ryan did this when he was with the Jets. He didn't have anything to do with the offense at all. And we will we'll buy that sometimes. This is what the Bengals actually need. They need the defensive guy who just lets the offense do what they want to do. I know football's all connected. I understand. I'm not stupid. But you do need somebody who's going to give this more attention than the offense.
So what are his names? Does that mean that we're talking about Flores? We're talking about Jesse Minter? We're talking about Jeff Hafley for Green Bay?
Yep.
I don't know. All those feel a little disappointing to pair them up just because they're defensive guys. If I was a Bengal fan, I'm like, oh, really? Is that where we're going? It's probably smart, but it definitely is not exciting.
Listen, you have Joe Flacco out there throwing for 450 yards, whatever it was. You don't need the offensive stuff is going to be fine. The defense is dreadful.
The thing that concerns me, because this is a similar thought for the Giants and what direction their head coach is going to go. If you go for the Giants, was my thought. If you hire a defensive first head coach, then yes, you could bring in some offensive guru to work with Jackson Dart, Malik Neighbors. But if that guy comes in and they crush it, he's going to be a head coach.
Right.
And now I'm starting again, another guy, another system with my young quarterback. So if you're an offensive first team, I think it makes sense to make the head coach offensive because he's going to be there longer. And then your defense, you figure things out with the coordinator.
Yeah, how's that going?
I know. They just did that.
But this is my point. Jackson Dart's not Joe Burrow. You know, like,
but what if he's Joe Burrow adjacent with the right person running an offense, creating an offense around him?
no, I'm just saying he's not in the place of his career that Joe Burrow is. He's clearly not right now as good as Joe Burrow. Like Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Joe's in that tier. These guys have agency. Jackson Dart still has to be shown the ropes here, right? He's had a few good games. He hasn't even had a full season. I think you can trust Joe Burrow that if he had some say in the offense, that he can do that.
How's your offense doing with a defensive coach and a offensive coordinator?
Can I tell you one huge
Better than the
difference
Giants.
between Cincinnati and New York? New York's got Brian Burns, Abdul Carter, Kayvon Thibodeau, Dexter Lawrence. Name somebody on the Bengals defense besides Trey Hendrickson.
I can't.
I mean, it is the GM is. I can name good Bengals players that are elsewhere, but I
Jesse
cannot
Bates.
name. Yeah,
Vontae's perfect.
And then remember they cut their linebacker right before the season. Pratt,
Jermaine Pratt.
Jermaine Pratt right before the season. Like, there's nobody on that defense. Like, what? Who are you playing? And, and they won't pay Hendrickson, so he's not going to be there. They are a disaster, GM wise too.
Let's put the poll question up. Should Joe Burrow come back this year? 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Okay, the one thing no one is talking about when it comes to Nico Harrison trading away Luka Doncic and now Nico Harrison has been given a pink slip. He is out as the Dallas Mavericks general manager. Got that next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
This Thursday Night Football preview is sponsored by Square. More than 4 million neighborhood businesses run on Square. To learn more, go to square.com or just stop by your favorite local business. See you in the neighborhood. Square. Poor Al Michaels. He's got the Patriots, 12.5-point favorites, hosting the Jets. It's going to be a celebration of all things Patriots. Another easy win for New England. But I'm not sure if that's going to really be the narrative. What do you expect out of this game?
Well, don't look now, but the Jets are on a 2-game winning streak, Pearl.
Hey-o.
Break up the Jets. They beat Cincinnati. They beat Cleveland last week. I don't know if they wanted to win either game.
Cleveland didn't give them a choice.
Yeah, you definitely are going to need a quarterback. That's obvious.
What a disgrace.
But now you have probably 2 years to do it because you have all those draft picks now for 2027 after the Quinnen Williams and Sauce Gardner's trades. So you're just loaded with draft capital. You're right. I think this is going to be wow, look at what a great organization the Patriots are, of how quickly, relatively, they were able to reload. Usually when you move on from either a Hall of Fame head coach or a Hall of Fame quarterback, sometimes it takes, every team outside of Green Bay, it takes them sometimes a generation to find the next person. This was like a 5-year blip, basically, and the Pats are in first place in the AFC East, and they're right back on track. And this could probably be the thing that gets Robert Kraft into the Hall of Fame.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, Kraft probably should be in the Hall of Fame. I think the cheating allegations probably slowed him down. Now, for me, the big debate is New England really a good team despite their bad schedule. Now, they beat Buffalo, which I don't think means exactly what we thought it was, because you've been telling me Buffalo has a lot of issues.
Yep.
Then the big debate to me is, does Tampa Bay prove what we think it does? I think Tampa Bay is not that great a team. I think Tampa Bay is a 10-7 team. And I think that without Godwin and Evans, I'm not sure I buy into that one the way some other people do. If they'd been early season Tampa Bay, maybe. So this is going to be another, look at the other wins. New Orleans, 25-19. Tennessee, 31-13. Cleveland, 32-13. Carolina, 42-13. Carolina will get blown out. The Patriots lost to the Raiders and lost to the Steelers. I just don't know. They're going to enter the playoffs with maybe the number 1 seed, Maggie, and I think they're going to be a big question mark. I don't know how you evaluate this team until they face a bunch of good teams, and we're not going to see that in the regular season.
Well, but see, that's the thing. Like, you're saying that Tampa Bay could be a 10-win team, but you're not sure how good they are.
10 is in a way that they're not 13-win team. I mean, they're not elite of the elite.
But 10 wins is probably maybe the biggest win total of any of the Patriots' opponents.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We're not.
So it has to count for something, does it not?
The big 2 tests will be Buffalo and Baltimore. The next game against Buffalo, which honestly, even if Buffalo is struggling, it's hard to beat a divisional opponent twice.
That's true.
And then at Baltimore, the Ravens are going to be desperate for playoff position. I think they're favored significantly in that game.
We'll see. I mean, at least Buffalo, they get at home. So, they beat Buffalo on the road. Baltimore's going to be on the road. Maybe that's a little bit tougher. Meanwhile, should someone do a wellness check on Aaron Glenn? The Jets head coach absolutely crashing out, as the kids say, yesterday. Let's hear it. So Garrett Wilson is out, okay? And Rich Cimini, who has covered the Jets since before EJ was born, probably. Definitely before Manny was born.
Oh, yeah.
But he's great at it. He's got so many sources. He's seen everything. He covered Aaron Glenn as a player with the Jets. Like, he's just been around, and he's got a great reputation.
Covered a lot of bad football.
He has, but a lot of interesting characters. So here's Aaron Glenn refusing to answer questions about injuries, specifically Garrett Wilson, because Rich Cimini from ESPN had a report on it.
I'm going to pass on talking about injuries. Since Rich, he's not here, has all the answers, so you guys can get all the injuries from Rich.
More from Aaron Glenn telling reporters, just ask Rich Cimini about the injuries.
Ask Rich. Well, I'm telling you to ask Rich. Well, you better call him.
No disrespect to you or Rich, but we want to hear it from you.
You guys have been here. You guys have been hearing it from me, but now since we're just reporting stuff, that I haven't said, then maybe you should ask him.
What an ass.
I mean, just so unprofessional. We're talking about an athlete's health here. Let's not let that be the side. Let's not let that not get in the way. That's basically as important as you can talk about.
Because of the gambling side.
No, I'm talking about because it's an actual person whose actual body is actually in pain.
Wait, what do you? I don't. Whatever that's about, I have no idea. But yeah, there's also actual rules here. There's millions and millions and billions of dollars are getting passed around on these games. You can't just hide the injuries.
Yeah, well, Wilson's going to be out, right?
Yeah, Wilson's going to be out. He's also still not saying who the starting quarterback's going to be, even though Justin Fields has won 2 games in a row. I mean, the NFL's got to step in. I've defended Aaron Glenn a lot, but this is becoming cartoonish.
You mean about injury transparency?
You got to say who's playing.
And also, I just think it's a terrible look when this is not a report about someone, a rumor, private life, something like that. It's about the guy's health. So you're the head coach. If the report's wrong, say it's wrong. If it's right, now you look like a gigantic jerk because you are treating this as if it's not serious. And the worst part to me, Pearl, is when coaches would leave Bill Belichick, for example, and try to do a Belichick impersonation when they're not the real thing. And they'd be weird with the media and do all these weird Belichick things, but it just fell flat and felt like a facsimile. To me, Aaron Glenn is doing this is a Bill Parcells impersonation. And it's you can hear Bill Parcells in this,
Yeah.
And it just falls really, really flat, feels inauthentic. And I don't know why coaches keep making these mistakes. Such an unforced error.
Coaches were left to their own devices. They do not like the media.
Congratulations.
Obviously.
Where's your ring?
Yeah, I'm not sure what to tell you about Aaron Glenn. I do think he gets a second year, by the way. I've seen him on some hot seat lists. That would be crazy if they fired him after this year. They gave him Justin Fields at quarterback and trade away his 2 best players now. I don't think he had a chance to be good this year, so I hope they look long-term. Because that being said, I'm not going to sell him out as a coach here because of this. He still could be a good coach.
I just love it. It's he gets to be there long-term, 2 years. That's how little stability there is with the Jets. We're not sure if he might not get fired after 1 season. I agree with you. I don't think he will, but it's patently absurd. But after year 2, you're immediately on the hot seat.
What's weird about this too is it'd be one thing if if he was giving Jets fans red meat by doing this thing with the media. I don't think Jets fans are angry at the media at all. They're angry at Woody Johnson. They're angry at the product that they're watching. There's nothing about how the team's being covered that annoys the Jets. There are some teams where going after the media, the fans actually like that. This is not helping the Jets fans feel good about the situation. Oh, yeah, you really got at Rich Cimini today. Nobody's going to sit there and say, I feel better about the Jet organization now. So even that
honestly,
part of this feels weird.
Rich Cimini, amongst Jets fans, I know it's a little local, but has a higher approval rating, I'm sure, than the last 7 head coaches for the Jets. Than all the coaches he's covered. Probably.
I mean, people liked Rex, I would hope.
Yeah, but then Rex...
A lot of coaches since Rex now.
Yeah,
and
Rex,
people liked Herm. But at least they liked him as a person. They might not have liked him as a coach.
Hello? You play to win the game.
The shtick with Rex got old.
I mean, the funny thing about the Jets is they're definitely riding a hot streak in the sense that everyone knows that Sauce Gardner, that was a great trade. The Sauce Gardner trade was great. The Quinnen Williams trade was good. So I feel like Aaron Glenn was feeling himself a little bit.
Let's make sure we play like the New York Jets.
That's why this is so annoying, because good things are actually happening, and now he's creating these distractions that the Jets don't need.
Welcome to being a Jets fan.
34 years, baby.
I know. EJ knows it all. Thank you, EJ Stewart. Thank you, Manny Rodriguez, Andrew Bogish, Andrew Kaplan, Weedos, Coffee Drinkers. We'll be back tomorrow with a whole bunch of fun topics. And the theme.
You're in a